Forex Focus, I'm Pete Momack, Glenn Freiberger joining us. Finally, the A-team is in. We've been able to retire the Pony League, we'll call him.
Made it through.
Maybe Pony League because he likes to ride a horse.
This is true. He will be doing a lot of horse riding this week out there in Oklahoma.
He will be in
horse pony riding, yeah.
He will be riding, which will be interesting. So
it's great for the pony because it doesn't get a lot of use when there aren't any people to ride him around. You know, it's a whole separate stall. The horses get to play all day, but the pony has to stay locked up until his faithful rider comes back from the big city.
This is our friend Frank, who is actually going to Oklahoma to spend a little bit of time with his better half and enjoy Thanksgiving. And so, yeah, a little trip to the country for our boy, which is good to see.
Glad to have you back.
I went riding with him a couple of months ago, and he's a little reticent, but doing better on the horse. So it was fun to see.
Impressive.
Yeah. What do you have now? Again, weekend starts today for you. I would imagine. Spy Kids weekend starts on Tuesday. So
I know it.
I can only imagine what Laszlo's got planned. I don't know if she's going to take her Falcon out for its daily airing or whatever. But now, again, the whole week kind of starts with. How do you lay out this long weekend of fun? Do you have any plans to see your family, or is it strictly just wrapping friendship around turkey and a large amount of alcohol?
Yeah, I told Mom next year.
Next year.
Got some things in the city to take care of this year.
I'm grateful to be seeing you next year. I like that.
Exactly. No, I'm going to see my family out in the suburbs in Oak Park, where she grew up. So mom, dad, sister, brother-in-law. That's about it. So keeping it pretty small this year, but no travel, which is very nice.
And what about, again, we don't mention Mr. Y anymore. That's been banned from conversation with Bridget. But what about Miss X, your significant, not so significant other? But where does she play in the holiday mix? Does she come along? Does she not come along?
Do you
guys just not talk for 3 days around the holidays? So it's like it's not an issue.
Yeah.
It seems to me you guys, and I'm saying this because I've got a son who's your age too. It's like we just don't talk about those things, so they're not an issue. It's like fascinating.
We don't talk about it, and hopefully it's not an issue. I think that's more of the rhetoric.
So you're walking through the minefield with lead boots. I like that.
Exactly. This will be, a first holiday season, so we'll see. Tread carefully. But no, she is also from the area. Went to St. Ignatius, actually.
The poor thing.
Yeah, which is the same as Mr. Camerna.
Those
but yeah,
lead pipes, all that poisoned water, that's
all the
not
asbestos,
good.
yeah.
And the asbestos, yeah, they used to sort of like cotton candy. They'd spit it up and serve it as snacks on Friday.
But yeah, so she'll be in the area spending time with her family. And so we'll probably do some Black Friday shopping, I imagine. My personal stylist.
Okay, so she's not coming to your tribe and you're not going to hers.
Correct. Yeah, that would be
interesting.
That
was
would be
that
a lot.
like cleared or is it just ignored?
I think it's pretty understood.
So ignored.
Yeah.
You could say understood, but ignored. That's fine too. Ignored.
I'll go with understood.
Okay.
But yeah, so separate family time. But
does she ever watch?
Yeah. If I say that I talked particularly highly of her, then she'll watch. So we'll see.
Very good. All right. So you do some Black Friday shopping.
Yep.
The whole Thanksgiving family thing goes in the rearview mirror. And now, do you sweat Christmas, or is Christmas going to be treated with the same benign neglect from a relationship standpoint?
Yeah, I'll be away for Christmas.
I forgot. Glenn,
I put my time off.
Glenn found an exclusive role here, which is again key to so much of what you guys see and read about FX. But it's funny because I did never find that job requisition with the 12 weeks of PTO. I think that's exceptional. You were able to land that. Now, what country are you jetting off to for skiing? Because you are able to attach yourself in fantastic ways.
Thank you. I pride myself on it. Yeah, we don't have anything crazy this holiday season, but we're still open to it. So if I get the last minute call up to the south of France or wherever it may be.
It was Switzerland last time, right?
Yeah, Switzerland, France, Alps. Very nice.
So you got time booked off in December on the holidays?
Yeah, right now the plan is to go see family in Salt Lake City
Really?
And then go back to North Carolina. Haven't been back there in a
Now,
couple
if you go to
years.
Salt Lake City, will you go up to Deer Valley?
I don't think so, just because we're not there for very long,
Okay.
and a lot of families flying in, so there are a lot of kids. That'd be pretty hectic, but maybe I could
And
escape for a day.
is that too pedestrian where you actually have to drive yourself to the mountain and like put
Sounds
skis
like a
on
hassle.
yourself? You usually
for
like
me.
you like a team to do that for you.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
If I could designate certain family members to, be driver, chef.
Oh yeah, that's going to work out really
then,
well from my family experience.
Then maybe I'll entertain it. But yeah, no, a pretty low key, family-oriented Christmas this year, which is good because last year I did jet out on my family on
Yeah,
Christmas
you
Day.
had a great trip.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun. So.
Next time you'll remember some of your friends in the transition possibly and kind of bring us
We're-
along.
Yeah, we're working on a big next year.
Okay, but if you go to Canada or Mexico or buy anything from there, it's going to be 25% more expensive. Basis what we heard. Interesting time. They released it. We got news yesterday that the president is planning on putting tariffs in place on Canada, Mexico, 25% tariffs on everything, an extra 10% on top of China.
Day one,
Day one.
we're
Which-
right in the door, sit down, tariffs.
Yeah, which actually they released it after the U.S. equity markets closed, but
Yeah.
it was actually right around 5 o'clock, 5:30 our time, because I started to see currency markets, the euro and some markets really kind of open quiet and then just
Right.
start to fall apart. And hadn't gotten the news yet. I was a little surprised. And by the
Yeah.
time I got home and got onto the desktop, you could see what was going on. And it was, again, thinner part of the day, that 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the evening, is who are the players in? Now, remember, there's 3 major regions of time zone. There's the U.S. region and trade FX, go into Asia, and then Europe and the UK. Now, as we go from late afternoon in the U.S. into Asia, China, Japan don't really come into the markets till 7 or 8 o'clock Chicago time, 8 or 9 o'clock New York time, Eastern time. So who's there? The New Zealanders, the Aussie guys are there. So are there people making markets in FX? Always. Are the markets a little thinner and susceptible to a little bit more movement? Absolutely. Now, you can look at that one or two ways. You can be a little bit mindful that event risk will tend to give us a little bit more elasticity. Now, as a trader, I like that. I like the fact that, now if you were long euros, you saw them open. They bounced all yesterday. They held on to most of their gains. And you saw them 60 pips lower. And it was like, that wasn't a good feeling.
No.
They did test another 30 points. Let's go ahead and bring up the euro chart. They tested another 30 points lower than that, but did what they do on announcements like this typically. We saw the break. We saw them challenge the lows a couple of times between 6 and 7 o'clock last night. And then they put it all back in.
Yeah, wow.
So the question is, why would this even affect euro? And it's the idea of a little bit of risk off. So where we saw it a little stickier, and we'll look at Canada and Mex in a bit, but this was a case where, remember, we've gone from 111 down to 103.5. A little bit of shakeout of, are these the lows? You can see why it would break in a little bit of thin market conditions. But this is the case where they put everything back in and then some, and we're actually railing right into the highs right now as we go into the U.S. session. So it's actually challenging if you were short and you were looking for that. I mean, I read 3 stories over the weekend. Next stop for the euro is par. And whenever you read everybody talking about, oh, yeah, we're going to move 14% in 2 months.
Sure.
Do we get there? I don't know.
Good.
Maybe we do at some point. Are we going to get there in a straight line? Absolutely not. And this is going to, I think we're going in, and we talked a little bit about this. We tried it higher Sunday night, gave back most of that. Interesting, we traded down to 104.5, which was right where we went out last Friday.
Right.
So I took all of what we put in Sunday night, Monday morning out, but couldn't kind of get through that spot. And now we're seeing the buyers reemerge a little bit. But we're seeing a little bit of dichotomy between what's performing and what's not. And let's take a look at where we're seeing the impact a little bit stronger.
Yeah, and is there any additional color around why it was released at that time? Was the intent not to shake up equity markets, or
I think, honestly, if I was to guess, it's just a guess, it was that they did this post-equity close. Not really, not to say not focused on, what is this going to do to the FX in the thinnest part of the market, which is usually that 2-hour window of 4 to Chicago time, 4 to 6 o'clock in the evening is the thinnest part of the time. That was the time, a week after Brexit, we saw the pound go from 112 to 105. This is times we've seen the euro print below par. It's thinner. It can kind of feed on itself a little bit. Aussie, the same thing. So 10% tariffs on China, that affects Aussie. We know there's a high correlation between the Chinese markets and Australia. But in this case, very much like the euro, they put it all back in. But albeit from much, why did it all come back in? We're not breaking Aussie from 68 cents.
No.
We're breaking Aussie from 65 cents. We're breaking euros from 105, not from 109.
Exactly.
So that is a little bit of context around where it is. The one where it kind of stuck was Canada.
Yeah, great point. 25%. I didn't expect that. I hadn't done too much reading on the tariffs in detail, but I didn't expect the same, just blanket across borders, 25% Mexico, 25% Canada. Does that have a large effect? Obviously, it should.
I think here's one where we had a big move from sub 140 to 141 and a half. 150 pip move is a big move in Canada. I would imagine that would probably sit well beyond one standard deviation, about halfway to two standard deviations.
Yeah.
So a big outsized move. And the fact is it off those really thin condition highs at 4 or 5 o'clock? It is, but not by much.
Right.
So I agree with you. This wasn't part of the, at least what I saw, the news cycle or what they were talking about. A lot of the focus, we looked at pre-election, the Peso being a proxy for an election trade. So here we're getting a little bit different result where you look across the board, sterling up, euro up, yen lower as we'd expect. Canada is the one outlier here, kind of, where it hasn't basically taken out all the reflexive knee jerk, even though we were at higher levels there. So, yeah, good one to look at too. Is we can take a look at Aussie Canada if you want, or just go right to Max.
Yeah, and it is interesting because you can believe it in a lot of these secondary markets to the news, like the euro, even Australia, where you're seeing kind of you need the initial reaction to the news,
right.
But then there is also the storyline of is this tariffs historically can be a very strong negotiation tactic, and so similar to how the Fed at least is taking a lot of this stuff where they taking the stance of yes, we hear all the news, but we're going to wait till anything's actually done to react, and so maybe some of that 2A action just coming from we kind of should expect these threats. Whether they actually play out on day one, we'll see. But in these markets, you have to at least respect what could happen. So a leg higher.
And I couldn't agree with you more. This is, number one, this is him doing exactly what he said he would.
Right.
Which, whatever your thoughts
Surprise.
are, you're not getting any surprises here. And is it going to be a more tactical play, or is he just going to basically paper the tape and stick it all up there and then see what they can maybe negotiate? I don't know, but you're right. And I think that's why we saw a little bit of the pullback, not so much. I would imagine this is going to continue to be a little bit of a tailwind in Canada. And let's take a look. We're at levels, yeah, and actually tighten it up a little bit, Glenn, because let's take a look at, we're looking at dollar max here.
Yeah.
Okay, these are levels we haven't seen for quite some time.
Exactly.
So,
all the way back to, 2022.
Right.
In this dollar Mexican pair, and this 20 handle right there. A lot on the election news, but now taking a leg higher this past week and a half.
Absolutely. And does this then impact part of the play too? Is Mexico is a carry trade. They pay higher interest rates than the U.S. that has been something that's helped support the peso up to a point. Now are they going to be in the situation where they're going to have to lower rates to stimulate growth because the tariffs are going to impact it? A lot of things in play. So we're seeing definitely good two-way back and forth in this pair. We're at levels we haven't seen. We're not through those multi-year levels, but expect a little bit more elasticity here. And this will be news sensitive. So if you're looking for a different type of trade, this is a little bit more, it's not more advanced because it's the same. Any currency pair, you're just trading one relative currency against the other. It could be against the dollar, or if you're looking for that next level of diversification, it could be euro against yen or Aussie against Canada. We'll take a look at that too, because that's a very commonly traded pair. But this one will have a little bit more elasticity to it and a little bit more back and forth. So if you're looking at this from a contrarian, or, they're really going to put, it's going to be impactful, and we're going to see MEX continue to deteriorate in value. If we print through 21 or 22, we're going to get into that uncharted territory level, and you're going to see markets feed on themselves. This is not unlike equity markets, that when they get to new levels, they get more elastic. It's what is fair value is the markets price it efficiently, but there's more uncertainty around where it is. More people need to hedge, so you get greater volatility. So this is an interesting one. You can look at it from either side. Like, this is way overdone. They built in all the news. Now he made the statement.
Right.
What more can they do?
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it. And there are a ton of differing perspectives here, because it is easy to say, okay, we knew he would impose something day one. This news is played out. This could be the end of the move. But then you zoom out and you think, well, his presidency is 4 years,
right?
Historically. And could he ramp that up throughout the 4 years? Then your time horizon for this is vastly different.
Right.
And you could see a completely new trading range. And to your point on this being a harder pair to trade, yeah, it might just be you need a little more focus into researching all the levers and moving parts, because just speculating here, but earlier in the summer we had a ton of Mexican peso news around their new government.
Right.
And so you bring it up that it will be very interesting to see if they react in terms of their own monetary policy or additional repercussions to trade. So a lot of things to consider, and a very interesting one to do a deep dive in.
Yeah,
if you are trading.
Absolutely. And don't get put off, though, by, well, this sounds too complicated for me. The markets are liquid, and they trade around the clock, and you're getting two-way action. Again, you can see the news play out in real time. This chess match is playing out in front of our eyes. You may have an opinion on the chess match. And that is where this becomes an interesting proxy to do. Be mindful, the bid offer's a little bit wider in here than what we look at in euro. So there's a little bit more friction in doing this trade. And next week, we'll actually walk through a couple of examples of how the trade ticket looks on tastyfx. So you get a sense of, okay, how does this set up in terms of margin, depending on the pairs, is a little bit different. Margin for peso is a little bit higher than euro, where it's 2% margin or 50-to-1 leverage. I believe it's 10-to-1 in the peso. So why is it higher? Well, it's a little bit more volatile pair. And just like in futures, you look at, well, I get 20-to-1 in crude oil. Why do I only get 7-to-1 in natural gas? Well, natural gas has more volatility, and the model, the span model they use, which is a similar model, it says that there is more volatility, thus they require a larger initial margin to it. Same thing here. So you're mindful of that trading this pair. Again, the great thing about SpotFX is you can trade whatever size you want. So this may be one where you trade a smaller unit here because you have an opinion, it's moving, but you don't want to get too caught up into it. So scalability is a great piece of SpotFX. One of the things I like about it is that you're not compelled to use the same institutionally sized products for everything. So that's great. Replicatable in the ETF world? Absolutely not. Replicatable in the futures world? Yes and no. It's a bigger bite, and it can have its own challenges. So this is an area where stuff like Mexico is really interesting. But let's jump over. Where do you want to take a look at?
One interesting one to watch throughout
Kiwi,
the day.
absolutely.
Yep. New Zealand dollar getting a little bit of those effects. I think if we go to the 15-minute chart
But go back to the daily just for a second. And let's tighten it up. So to look at, are we cheap?
Yes.
Absolutely. For the technicians out there, this is a triple bottom. And again, if technical analysis works for you, that's great. If you use it as a reason to stay in bad trades longer, that's the problem. It's not. It should be a tool, not your decision maker. But it's great context, especially for new traders who, I watch guys like Tom who could trade 100 underlines, and he just does it with a ribbon of prices. And I've been trading for 42 years. I talked to my old friends, and it's like nobody can do that.
Right.
He is unbelievable. He's exceptional in his ability to keep all that information warehouse. Charts are great visual to give you context around where things have been. Things are here. Again, we're at a very interesting inflection point. This has been a bottom for a lot of the moves here. Have we kind of pierced the closer two bottoms? Yeah, but again, not by a convincing way. We're just sitting around that level. What does this mean? This will be an interesting time for either we extend and roll over towards the end of this week. And this is an interesting week because Thursday's a holiday, although FX is open.
Right.
So you can trade FX around the clock. There's no half day or anything like that. Friday, we're open all day. It's not like a half day like it is in equities. So you can get a product, which is something as an active trader I love and a lot of people do. It'll be interesting to see if we stage a bounce off these lows or this is just the capitulation. Now we've got U.S. employment and non-employment. We've got GDP and inflation numbers tomorrow. We got
New Zealand Reserve Bank of New Zealand meeting tonight.
And what time is that?
That'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern with the press conference at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, and where do you find that, Glenn?
You can find it right here in the economic calendar on today. And we've got it right down there. And yeah, this will be interesting because we have forecasted a 50 basis point cut. And this is a continuation on.
I love this calendar. We just rolled this out about 6 months ago, and I mean, we had a bad calendar. Why would I put lipstick on a pig? This is really, going through this was something, again, from this, I'm not going to make a macro determination. What I'm going to do is I know the event risk. I know what the expectations were. I know what has happened in the past.
Exactly.
That's the information I need as a trader to act. I'm not going to build a whole macro theory off of this. As traders, we want to know when information is coming out that can move markets. So great context here. They're on a fairly aggressive but similar easing cycle to us. Now, they're debating, actually, as that news came out about the tariffs, one of the Fed governors, Kashkari, came out same time and said, the neutral rate may be higher than we think, and December is not a foregone conclusion for a rate cut. So you saw bonds trade a little bit lower, notes trade a little bit lower. So U.S. interest rates pushed a little bit on that. But this is, so in the U.S., rates not guaranteed to be cut in December. Here, they're looking for a big 50 basis point cut. It's a large cut off the rate.
Definitely.
So this will be an interesting spot. So you've got two things to keep track of. Rate cut at 7 o'clock my time in Chicago, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Then the press conference, just like they do in the U.S. here, from the Reserve Bank of New Zealand's governor at 8 o'clock Chicago, 9 o'clock. We should see movement off of both those. One will be whether or not they do cut the full 50 basis points, because it's not a lock whether or not they will. And do they cut by less? And do they come out and then tweak it with verbiage? Or do they cut by more and then tweak the verbiage back? I don't know. All I know is that we'll get movement off of it both sides, which will be interesting. So from a scalper standpoint here, I would say you're taking your ranges that you're interested in. you're probably adding between 50 and 100% to it. In other words, if I'm going to scalp around 40 or 50 points in Kiwi right now, I'm probably going to look for 60 to 75 basis points, pips, of scalping range on these events if I want to be the contrarian or I want to manage positions. Just as context, everybody, you determine what works for you.
Right.
It's really up to everybody to do that. But this continues to be an interesting play. Markets here continue to offer us good two-way action. Very much looks very Australian-esque, very Euro-esque in terms of they hit it hard, they hit it through the lows, and they recovered off of that a little bit. So I don't know if there's enough to make a story here. We've bottomed, especially with rate risk coming. But I think it does mean this is something that's going to be on top of my board when we go through tonight.
I agree. Yeah, a lot to look forward to. And also, if you saw on that economic calendar, we have Australian data tonight as well. So a lot to look for with the FOMC minutes today. Not sure how time sensitive that'll be now with all these things evolving so quickly. But a lot to look forward to on the economic calendar. And a lot of good dollar stories playing out this week ahead of the holidays.
Good job out of you today, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
All right, well done. Guys, coming up next, Tom Sosnoff, Tony Batista, Vanetta Logan. We'll be back with you next week, actually. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
We built tastytrade's web platform for today's traders. Drill into data, find opportunity, and track the action with hundreds of indicators. Fund your account and start trading right in the app. Join the club. tastytrade.
Dear Braden, big thanks to you and the nerds for the wonderful tech support. Of course I back everything up to cloud, because I'm 60 years old and I know what a cloud is. Yours truly, Larry.
Sometimes it feels good to get smart. Get even smarter with live trading insights and some live taunting.
No, your office is right near a different. You're like closer to the.
Near what?
Whatever.
This is English. You should watch him read.
From the smart mouths at tastylive.
Got the need for speed? No problem. On tastytrade, adjusting your option positions is a right click away. Rolling just got quicker. tastytrade, make your move.
It was a beautiful fall weekend in Chicago. Lots of sun, warm temps, and tons of people out in the neighborhood. To try and be more normal, I decided to work from the coffee shop all weekend. You know, mingle with the common folk for a bit each morning. In fact, I wrote the cherry bomb yesterday while talking markets with complete strangers. What started as a discussion about fried clams and Cape Elizabeth evolved into a heated debate about junk bonds and cashless collars. That was fun. You see, every once in a while, you need to challenge yourself. That's why, for the Bears game, I made Jamaican-inspired oxtails. Who says I'm not a risk taker? But the real reason I'm sharing this story about talking finance with random strangers is because that's what makes Tasty so special. Unfortunately, we live in an incredibly divisive era of interpersonal communication. When talking to people we don't know that well, we can't talk about politics, religion, social issues, education, or even current events. I feel like every topic becomes an instant powder keg. Every topic except for finance. Tasty Nation speaks their own language. They're different. They can articulate certain aspects of investing that always intrigues and engages random strangers. I commonly hear, how do you know that? Strategic financial know-how and articulation skills are an amazing bridge between people with very different views and opinions. Let me give you some examples. The next time someone says, isn't Trump amazing? You say, I just bought a broken wing butterfly in the SPX. Or, Kamala is just incredible. You say, I just sold a jade lizard in NVIDIA. On immigration and taxes, you say, I really love the leverage of span margin. Tasty Live really is making the world a better place.
Now you got a hole in your throat. Oh no, just call your boss. Take a crust from out your eyes. So tasty, not a coffee.
Good morning, you knuckleheads. Happy Wednesday to you both.
Hello.
Hola, Thomas. How are you guys today? Look at us, black, white, and gray. Like a cat.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like a cat.
Tom, where's your apron and your artisanal pie maker shirt?
Don't you laugh, but I will send you a picture of my cherry pie tomorrow.
Well, that sounds like a threat.
Sounds like a solicitation is what it says to me. I'm going to show you my cherry pie. How much should I send you in Bitcoin?
Where did you get this cherry pie from?
No. I'm making it.
Wait a minute. Did I just have a stroke? You're going to make a cherry pie?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Are you going to make your own crust?
I'm going to try. I have a backup plan just in case.
It's okay. There's no shame. There's no shame in that game. Don't let someone shame you if you don't make your own crust.
I'm going to try to make my own crust.
I mean, I'm going to shame you, but don't let anyone else shame you.
I think making
Is this cherry pie going to have a top crust to it?
Yeah.
Should have a lattice crust.
Yeah, lattice.
Will it have a little circle on the top? Like a hole?
Maybe, Tony, if you would like one. I'll take a picture. But
Or is it going to have like bird feet on it? Is it going to have like bird feet on it?
Here's the thing, though. As a baker of a very long time, I have a certain set of skills and abilities. No, that's taken. That's Liam Neeson. No, but do you have a rolling pin?
Yes.
Do you have a pastry cutter?
Do you have flour? Do you have water?
A pastry cutter.
And you don't have a pastry wheel.
I don't exactly know what it is, but no.
Well, a pastry cutter is to break up the pieces of cold butter into the dough.
No, I'll buy one today.
Okay.
Oh, use your ample sized thumb for that.
I have the pizza cutter.
That'll work. You can use that for the lattice. You can use that for the dough, but you need a rolling pin.
Do you have ants? Do you have ants to put in the pie in case they don't attract enough of them?
No more ants. It's past the season. I can go buy some dried ants if you like.
Do you have a pie dish, like a deep pie dish?
I have a pie dish. Whether or not it's deep enough, we'll see.
Okay.
Would you like me to fill your pie hole?
If you need help, sweetie, you can text me. I will be driving, but you can text me if you need help.
Right.
Okay.
If you need a professional pie eater to come look at it to see if it's edible, call me. I'll be available.
Do you brush it when it's done before you bake it with like a little?
Like I'll do an egg wash. And then I actually have, because I'm a sucker for anything, I have what's actually called pie shields. And so it goes around the crust of your pie so the crust doesn't get too dark. Right. So they make either silicone or aluminum pie shield. You can just use foil.
Tinfoil. Grandma Beanie used to use tinfoil.
Yeah, you can just use tinfoil, but you should put something like on the crust. And I can show you my 3-finger technique to flute your crust.
One finger and two in the where? One finger in the what and two in the where?
No, like this.
Oh, that's a new way of doing it. I don't know that way. I know this way, but I didn't know how'd you do it?
You can flute your crust. You take your fingers like this, and you flute the crust.
Never mind. All right, never mind.
I'll figure it out.
I've heard flicking the crust, but I've never heard fluting it.
Oh my God.
I'm into it.
We have lost all. Beth is going to stab us all.
I'll send pictures.
What made you get a bug up your butt about making your own pie?
Because yesterday, a bunch of people on the network were making fun of me.
So you're like Donald Trump. You get made fun of at a correspondence dinner, and you decide to just make your own pie.
And then all of a sudden, we have tariffs on pies. That's right. We all have to make our own pies now.
No, when I was, you know what? I started thinking about it because when I was in Door County, I bought a bunch of unsweetened Door County cherries.
Sure.
And so I'm ready. I got to use them. So let's try it.
So, Sadnov, let's get back to the crust a little bit. So it's going to be fluted like the crust at Barnaby's Pizza? Is that what it's going to be?
Probably not. No.
I think it is. I think that's exactly what
I don't
you
really
said.
like a fluted crust.
Well, you have to do something to the crust. Otherwise, it's just going to be flopping all over the place. So you can – a simpler method is to just take a fork and to crimp the edges. You can just do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
I might just do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to crimp them.
Look, the only way you get better at baking is to just keep doing it. So I applaud you. I'm not going to discourage this. And I mean, yeah, the first couple of times I made pies or cakes or cookies, it didn't turn out good, but my family was nice about it.
My last pie.
His family won't be, though. That's the best part about it.
My family will not be.
You better have like a backup. You better have like a Hoosier pie somewhere in the house, frozen. I know you do somewhere. Probably from 2019, 2020?
Yeah, I think I have a frozen cherry pie somewhere in the house. But I also am making, I told Tony this morning, but I'm also making bread from scratch. I got yeast. I'm doing it.
You did not tell me you were making bread from scratch. Wow. You got yeast.
Oh, I told Beth.
So the only thing I will say, Tom, about you and your personality, baking is a precise science. So if you see an amount in a recipe, out loud.
Have you ever met a baker? There's nothing scientific about them. They're typically, not their first profession.
No,
I'm not precise.
Okay, but
only Jimmy Bread makes the best bread in Algonquin.
Lord, give me the strength. You have to be precise in baking. Yeah, like barbecuing, you're grilling, sauteing, you throw stuff in and out. But in baking, there is a reason, because of certain processes that happen, that you have to use a recipe and the measurements specified. That's all I will say. Don't try to freestyle
You got Jimmy Bread in Algonquin.
I'm really not good. I'm not good with it.
But if you have a recipe, just follow it. That's it.
I know. I'm just telling you. I'm not good with
Not good with following directions.
I'm not good with following directions.
Okay, but...
you see, you have to do the progression, which then makes
I got backups
at being a baker.
I have backups for everything. If I mess up,
especially with stuff like yeast, which is a living organism, like you have to make sure the water temperature is correct. You have to make sure the measurements are correct.
Water. Yeah. Hey, you go to Jimmy Bread in Algonquin, you tell them the Bat sent you. If they got like an old corn muffin or a piece of pastry, you get that for free.
That's what I'm having for lunch today. Jimmy Bread.
There you go. Beautiful.
Bat, how are your endeavors going? For getting all your Thanksgiving stuff, because you were gonna add brisket to the chicken to the.
I got vetoed on that.
Oh.
Oh wow! You got vetoed on brisket.
My wife said she's gonna make a little Italian food for me because I've been such a good boy all year.
I'm gonna make a phone call to your wife.
And when she says she's gonna make Italian food for you, like, what is that?
She hasn't exactly told me yet what she's making, but she's gonna make something
Stouffer's
for me.
lasagna.
Hungry man.
Yeah, that's what you get. Pop it in the oven, 50 minutes, you're good.
Did you ever think to ask what might that be?
I don't like to ask a lot of questions. It doesn't do me any good. It just gets me in trouble.
It's funny. You're so much better trained in your house than you are everywhere else.
I sleep here. I'm a very sound sleeper. I don't want to be like what happened to Slappy, happened to me. I won't wake up. He woke up. He was
What happened to Slappy?
Slappy's ex-wife tried to put a pillow over his head while he was sleeping, but he woke up.
Legend.
I won't wake up.
Legend.
He woke up and said, "Are you trying to put a pillow over my head?" I won't wake up.
That's funny. I did enjoy the guest appearance via phone call from the 6 on the show. She put you all in your places. You guys are idiots.
Did you see us? Did you see us when he started calling? We both went like this. We were trained.
Put some respect Mrs. Sheridan's name.
Get her name out your mouth.
Yeah. Also, that deep dish apple pie sounded delicious, but $50? Get out of here.
But the poor Sosnoffs are going to eat some rotten cherry pie.
Scott doesn't know. He's
he has cherries from September when he went to foliage weekend that he was early for.
He doesn't know.
Premature.
It's a different world. My pie sense is like,
shut your pie hole.
Do you know there's a pizzeria in Chicago called Pie Hole?
Oh, I didn't know that. Have you been there?
Yes, right around the corner from the office.
Huh.
It's on Ogden and Grand.
Oh yeah, that's right there.
Yeah. It's called
I did not know. Well, I will be making my signature sweet potato pie. I don't make pumpkin pie, but I make sweet potato pie, and it's delicious.
It's permanently closed, Sosnoff. Oh, the one in Lakeview is. Sorry.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, there's one right around the corner. Really? It's closed? It's good. It was good.
The one in Lakeview closed. I don't know about one by us.
I've had sweet potato pie one time and I really liked it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Good if you get the
First of all, I only eat sweet potatoes now because I love them.
That's not true.
No, I mean, I'll eat regular potatoes if there's no sweet potatoes. But if I had my choice, like give me choice A versus choice B, I'll take the sweet potato every time.
Do you like sweet potato fries?
I do.
Oh.
But I prefer a baked sweet potato.
Interesting.
And I bought maple
bourbon syrup.
Yeah, something like that.
No,
butter. Maple something butter.
Are you okay?
I just can't remember what else was in it. Maple and something. I'll check. Maple something butter.
Okay. I'm excited for you. I love that you are becoming a domestic queen. So please take lots of pictures.
My favorite thing about Thanksgiving is unfortunately, this is the only thing I'm mad about Thanksgiving is that
I won't be there.
No, is that the NFL during prime time on Thanksgiving decided to have the Giants play the Cowboys. Like
3 crap games.
2 of the worst teams in the NFL at prime time.
When they're setting the schedule in like March or whenever, like they don't know that because the Cowboys almost went to this. They went deep in the playoffs last year, so they're making the schedule. They're like, okay, Dak's gonna get all this money. It's gonna be fine. They didn't know he was gonna get hurt.
If you're gonna be like this on Thanksgiving and mansplain everything to everybody, you're not gonna be welcomed. Okay, let the men talk.
It's a crappy game, is my point. Like at prime time on Thanksgiving, the last game you want to see is Tommy DeVito playing against Cooper Rush.
Whoa! Get your name, Tommy DeVito, out your mouth.
I think he hurt his arm. I think he's even hurt. But I love a little DeVito celebration. I love Tommy DeVito, and I love his gangster agent. I love the whole thing.
Yeah, well, he stinks, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'm sorry. And how many NFL games have you started?
Probably the same number as him until yesterday.
You might see Drew Lock for the Giants.
Oh, little Drew Lock.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like a third string quarterback.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, I will tell you this. Something is very funny in the Swiftie verse because Taylor will be playing her very last show ever for this Eras tour on December 7th. And so it's a Sunday. And so it's going to be the same day, obviously, that the Chiefs play. So some of the baby Swifties learned about flex games. So they think that the NFL can just flex the Chiefs game to like another day or time.
We'll do it. Let's see. When can we meet again? We can meet again in December.
Can I just say that on December 7th, when we're doing our last live show of the year, you can still make it to Taylor Swift at night if you come to our show in Phoenix during the day, because we'll be done by noon.
Easily.
Yeah. She doesn't take the stage till later that night. Yeah.
We'll be over by noon, right?
Yeah, right. So where's the show? Vancouver?
It's in Vancouver. It's the last 3 dates of the $2 billion Eras tour. And in fact, they are finally selling all of the seats in the stadium. So even seats that don't have a view of the stage, they sold tickets for 15 Canadian dollars. That is the steal of the century.
I mean, but for an American, that's about $4.50.
Literally free.
The exchange rate.
Would you go to the concert if you couldn't see?
Yeah, 100%. Just to be there in that atmosphere. I think they have like
I would
video
go to the concert and I can't hear.
I mean, people go and they stand in the parking lot. In my show in Munich, they sat up on a hill. They could you could sort of see here. It's just, you want to be there. You want to see what's going to happen the last day. You want to sob your eyes out with all of your other...
Oh my God, Are you going to have Britt change your flight to Vancouver now?
I got to tell you the truth, though. I probably, if I had a chance to go, I think it would be fun to see her. I didn't, at first, 2 years ago, I would have told you I had zero interest. But at this point...
Now he's a Swiftie. I converted him.
Can you name one of her songs?
No, but I can
any
tell
song,
you by...
just one.
No, but I can tell
But you want to see her because everybody else says she's good?
Yeah, everybody says she's great. Yeah, what's wrong with that?
You're so public now, Sosnoff. Really,
I think it would be fun.
Honestly, give me a man card.
Really, Bat? Because you're the one who's cosplaying as Taylor Swift. Do you not have a cat on your lap right now?
Don't
I
out
don't
me.
have a cat on my lap. I'm not a cat lady.
Don't out me. Don't out me. That ain't fair. We're supposed to be kinship here. There's supposed to be some brotherhood.
Karma is
sisterhood.
a cat on your lap because she loves you. Yeah. Hold up your pussy.
I'm glad you started it.
No, your daughter brought a cat home.
Yes, you are right. I have a pussy on my desk right here.
I will send you my Taylor Swift playlist, Bat. You're already there.
I'm halfway there. I just need to push it over.
Anyway, hey, we've got a great show for you today. Whether you are driving, we wish you safe travels to your destination. As a programming note, today's the last day this week of Tasty Live programming because we deserve to see our families. Tom holds us hostage the majority of the days of the year. But he does let us have these 2 days consecutively to see our family. We only get 1 day at Christmas, but we get 2 for Thanksgiving.
Because he wants you to be thankful.
Right. So we are spending time with our family, but you can check out any of our wonderful content in our archive, whether that's option trades today, whether that's Tom interviewing a rising star Uber driver, or whether it's Nikki doing his anatomy of a trade series. You could check it all out on the Tasty Live website. But for you today, Tasty Live, we got a good show. We're going out here with the bang. At the top of the 8 o'clock hour, we got Julia in the house, bringing you a little bad taste. She's going to talk about risk parity portfolio allocation. Ooh, that's nice. And then 8:40, we're still doing some Wednesday things. We're doing What's Your Assumption? These are viewer-submitted trades with a directional bias. We'll see what kind of interesting positions our viewers were able to scrounge up today. And then 9 o'clock, we got Jacob in the house. The skinny on options math, expectations, and deliverables. That's going to be from our resident geek, Jacob. And then my personal favorite, 9:30, big boy Scotty S. Scott Sheridan in the house, counting down all the top trending tickers over at Tasty Trade. And then you guys are taking calls. If you have questions, we would love to hear from you. That's around that 9:40 time frame. So
sure.
You guys want your daily dose?
Sure.
Hit me with my theme music. Let's go.
Our leading story. Breaking news.
Across
the wire. Leading story. Top story. Just in.
In today's headlines.
This just in.
Breaking news.
Story.
All right, everybody. Today is a wonderful Wednesday. It's November the 27th. This is the part of the show we like to call the Daily Dose, where we talk about today's financial news and headlines. Today is bringing big data. The markets are going to face a flood of economic data today, including home sales, a revision to GDP, and an important report on inflation. But because traders normally take time off for the holidays, volume's going to be far lighter than usual. What are your thoughts for how the market's going to move today on some of these big economic reports, and what are you seeing volume-wise?
Well, volatility's on its butt, so I'm going to say that these moves are going to be a little muted, and volume's actually been pretty good if you measure it by the E-mini S&P volume the last couple of days.
Even if you measure it by the option volume, the last 2 days have been a lot busier than we thought. So, I mean, yeah, things will slow down today after 10, 11 o'clock Central Time this morning. No question about it.
Sure.
But, and they'll be a little slower on Friday. But, we've had Friday half days where we've been, super busy. And I don't know, they haven't slowed down at all yet. Markets have been good.
Okay, what are you looking at? Let's talk treasuries real fast.
I mean, they're up 22 ticks right now this morning. We went home very long.
So this number 118.22 is numbers it hasn't seen since early November. So you're taking back the last 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, we're long. I didn't cover anything yet this morning. I'm debating right now. We have we sold a bunch of puts yesterday and in bonds, and we sold puts in the notes.
Okay.
I mean, we rolled up puts in the notes, so I mean, I don't know. Like, I haven't covered anything yet this morning. I'm not sure. I probably should cover a little bit of the note premium. Let me see where the market is.
Oh, say thank you, Vanetta.
No, I don't really want to do this. This is just like every once in a while, I'll throw one. Yeah, I just threw an order to the gods just to say, okay, so I did something.
Okay.
He likes to sprinkle the infield so that they go higher. Actually, he hopes it's the worst sale.
I hope that's the worst buy. I just bought some. The notes are up 12.5 ticks this morning, which is a lot for 10-year notes. So just bought back some puts we sold yesterday, and I didn't buy back any of my bond puts, but we sold a lot of bond puts yesterday. So it's a good morning. Russell's up, bonds up. That's good for the good kids.
Okay. Oh, that's good. All right. Hey, keeping it moving here. A Federal Reserve officials signal cautious path for rate cuts amid still high inflation. Fed Reserve expressed caution at their last meeting about cutting interest rates too quickly, adding uncertainty about their next moves. But even if inflation continued declining to the Fed's 2% target, officials said it would likely be appropriate to move gradually in lowering rates. What are your thoughts about so the minutes came out yesterday, but it doesn't provide much guidance about what they're going to do at their next meeting, December 17th and 18th. What's your call?
Well, it doesn't. Again, I think we've had this discussion like 1,000 times.
I can't make the news, man.
Wait a minute. Are you talking to my wife?
The Fed will do whatever the bond market tells it to do. So right now, if the bonds stay right here at 118.21 or they rally up towards 120, the Fed can do whatever they want to do if they get back over 120. If the bonds were to sell off here and go back down towards 115.5, then they have to slow down. So it really just depends on what the bonds do. It's not like whatever we say now doesn't mean a damn thing. It just depends on what the bonds do over the next couple of weeks. And if the bonds continue to rally up towards 120, the Fed can do literally anything they want. They can slow down the pace, they can speed it up, they can do whatever they want. If the bonds sell off again and go back down towards that 115.5 level where they keep stopping, at that point, then the Fed's hands are tied and they have to slow down.
Do you think this will be more of a December to remember with sort of rate cut issues, maybe a Santa Claus rally, maybe some tension over administration changes?
No, I actually don't think that at all. I think the market is way ahead of itself. And I think that we've had an incredible run basically this whole year. And I would think that, everybody wants to paint the story like you're going to see a year-end melt up and all this kind of stuff. I don't see it, but I also don't see I don't have any. There's a few red flags, but there's not a lot of warning sign. Like if you look at skew right now, it's 166, 167. I remember I looked at it last night. Like everybody has protection. So I think that there's a little bit.
Close at 166. You are right. That's the high end of the range, and you're saying that if it's at the high end of the range, everybody's bought protection. If you buy protection, it can't work.
That's right. Exactly. That's the only thing that gives me a little, that gives me some caution in thinking that they're not going to sell off right away. But I do think the market's at a very vulnerable stage here, just because everything's priced so rich. But we'll see.
Sure. Okay. All right. Good to know. Hey, keeping it moving. The President-elect Trump plans no exemption for oil imports under a new tariff plan, according to sources. Overnight, it looks like we do have a peace agreement between Israel and Hezbollah. Again, this is not Gaza. This is Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. And again, now oil in play with the tariffs in Canada and all this other stuff. I just want to talk about oil as an underlying. That's it.
I mean, oil hanging out. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's hanging out at $69, mid to lower end of its range. Good IV rank of 43.
Okay. What do you guys do? Are you adjusting anything? Are you expanding anything in oil? No.
Perfect. We're perfect right here.
What about natural gas, real fast?
Natural gas, also this down move is good for us to say because they suck a lot of premium out, down 15 cents today, which is about 5%. So they take a lot of premium out when they drop natural gas. When it goes up, they pump premium in. When it goes down, they take it out. We're short premium in there, so this is a good morning for us.
Okay, nice. Hey, in other news, China's industrial profits dropped by 10% in October from a year ago, in another sign that Beijing's stimulus measures have yet to reverse a slump in corporate earnings. That marked the third straight months of a profits decline following a 27% year-over-year plunge in September, the steepest decrease since March of 2020. Let's talk China.
I mean, we're still long China, so I don't know what. Let me see what they're doing.
This is not
today.
Good news.
Well, Bob is at its low end of its range.
Yeah, Bob and Baidu are both up big today, up pretty big this morning.
Baidu's up 80 cents.
Baidu's up 80 cents. Bob is up almost $2.
Oh,
almost.
Okay. What about FXI?
That I don't.
But they're both near their lows.
Yeah. FXI, I don't have a position on right now. Let me see.
FXI looks like it's trading around $30 and change, maybe up 50 or 75 cents. So catching a small little bit here in China, but again, low to lower quarter of its most recent moves.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, keeping it moving, Bitcoin. Investors in the world's largest cryptocurrency are anticipating a significant downward move after Bitcoin failed to hit an all-time peak of 100,000. Bitcoin hit a record high of 99,830 on November 22nd. The cryptocurrency's the best-known cryptocurrency so far is soared 120%. But options traders, it looks like they are looking at positions, the so-called put skew index for the upcoming December 27th Bitcoin expiry showed a significant 30% drop in the last 24 hours as market participants are shifting towards protective strategies. I know you hate stuff like this about unusual options activity.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a dumbass headline. Bitcoin's up.
But I do want to talk about the move in Bitcoin, and it had a
nice,
you called
10% down, 10% down move. Now it's up a little bit today, $2,700 in the futures, which is probably isn't a surprise at all. I don't think it's going anywhere to the upside, but we'll see.
Okay. Bat, you already know. I'm gonna ask about Coinbase.
I knew you were, and I was ready for you. Coin is trading at $300 on the nose, up around $7, but it took a little bit of a sell-off yesterday, about 16 or 18 points.
Oh.
So catch it back a little bit on Coin. $300.
Cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike raised its annual revenue and profit forecasts and beat third quarter revenue yesterday, betting on growing demand for cybersecurity services amid growing online threats. The company hit a sales milestone in its first full quarter after basically knocking all the computers in the world offline. They posted fiscal third quarter revenue of $1.01 billion, up 29% from a year ago. CRWD, let's get rowdy. What are you doing in CrowdStrike?
It's down about $16 the last time I looked. It looks like it's 16, $17 right now.
No, Tony, you're reading it wrong. It's only down 7.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It rallied down 7. I apologize. It was down $13 about 15 minutes ago.
I mean, this is a true non-event on a stock that had an expected move in December, almost $40.
Yeah.
And a stock that moved $100 last time on earnings. This is going to be a premium. I mean, we sold puts, calls, and a few extra puts. I think this is going to be a premium destruction.
Okay.
Wow, destruction. Not even worse than a debacle.
Total annihilation.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a total annihilation.
In other earnings from yesterday, Dell reported quarterly earnings that beat analyst expectations for earnings per share, but they did come up light on overall revenue. Dell shares, kind of a sneaky backdoor AI play, have risen 86% so far for 2024, and it's kind of funny how they've become relevant again, but Dell said they expected between $24 billion and $25 billion in revenue during Q4. Get it, girl?
We did not. I don't think we traded Dell. Hold on.
I don't think we did. Dell trading 124, closed at 141, so a little outside the expected move to the downside.
Yeah, it's down 17. Well, we did not trade it.
Okay, well, maybe something to do post earning. I don't know.
Because we're smart, Vanessa.
I'm just going to tell you that Dell is. We said it yesterday, and the reason we didn't trade it is because it's so damn hard to trade.
Yeah, you can't get in, you can't get out. That good prices, meaning mid-price.
We're not going to do a post-earnings trade in there.
That's a good no call then. That I didn't hear that particular discussion, but that makes sense. Hey, if you like girls that like Abercrombie and Fitch, they expected strong holiday quarter as their growth run continues. In a crazy little monster of a stock this year, A&F raised their full year guidance and said they're expecting a strong holiday shopping season. They also run Hollister, which had struck a cautious tone earlier this year, but they were able to generate a revenue of $1.21 billion for their stores that smell like that cologne. But good job, A&F. I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch. Okay.
A&F trading at 148 or so, up around $1.50. A&F has had itself for. We still there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I did something to my computer. I'm so sorry. A&F has had itself a good retail, although it sold off yesterday with a lot of the other retailers. Apologize.
You got to stop going to those sites, Tony. You got to stop. There are not hot singles in your area. I'm sorry to tell you.
You mean they're not really here? They don't want to collaborate with me?
They do not. They do. There have never been hot singles in Glencoe.
I can't believe that.
Hey, Nordstrom, Tom favorite, Nordstrom beat Wall Street revenue expectations and delivered a slightly rosier full-year sales outlook. The retailer sales growth is notable at a time when the discretionary merchandise and luxury sector have been under pressure. JWN kind of waffling because they were like, should we take this company back private again? Tom was a fan, but I don't think he's been lately. So I expected their sales to be down because no Sosnoff.
No, Sadlov has been raiding the company closet these days. He only wears tasty apparel. I mean,
or bad coffee apparel.
I hope you're writing this off on your tax return too. I hope you're paying for that stuff. JWN, Nordstrom trading near its highs around $24 and change.
Okay, good job.
Now that Tom's not wearing it, people can actually wear it with pride.
A company, a data and analytics and AI company, that's the magic word called Databricks, is raising at least $5 billion in cash in its new funding round, pegging its valuation of this company we've never heard of at $55 billion. The software company is already one of Silicon Valley's most valuable private startups, and it has been viewed as a potential IPO candidate. Are these IPO startups out of control that this company you've really never heard of is going to raise $5 billion in cash?
A lot of money.
Never heard of them.
What do you think of the logo?
I like their logo. I don't really care about their mark. That's not really that cool. But Databricks, that way they wrote it out, very nice. Very nice.
Wow. Okay.
Big
Tom
fan.
loves a sans serif font. He's happy with the kerning and the size. I learned that from Cassie.
Very happy.
Anyway, but good job for you, Databricks, I guess. I don't know. Hey, in automotive news, Rivian has won preliminary approval for a $6.6 billion federal loan for its Georgia EV plant. They got a conditional commitment from the Department of Energy, for the loan, highlighting Rivian's improving capital condition. What are you doing in Rivian?
No, I think we have no position. Let me just take a little peek here. I think we're out of Rivian.
Rivian hanging out at $11 and change. It looks like it's up about 10 cents this morning. It's off of its lows of around $1 lower than this.
Yeah,
Rivian will still build vehicles, the R2, at its Normal, Illinois plant.
Yes, we do not have a Rivian position on it. It came off last expiration cycle. I think we had some in the money puts. I think the whole position just disappeared.
Okay. Tony will also be in Normal, Illinois for a hockey tournament, probably. I don't know. Amazon workers are planning a global protest on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Amazon employees and activists in 20 countries are preparing to strike or protest on Black Friday and Cyber Monday as part of the Make Amazon Pay demonstrations. To be clear, this is the 5th year in a row that workers at Amazon have staged the protests and strikes over what they say are poor working conditions at the company, Amazon.
I mean, how come they get to sue? We don't get to sue. I mean, it's only fair. They should wait for us. Amazon 208 up around $1 or so, maybe 80 cents, mid to high end of its range, most recent range. I mean, it's just off its highs, about $20 higher than this.
What's its IV?
IV's not bad at 16. If you want to look for a diagonal spread with a little bit of delta to it.
Okay, that'll do it.
Always something to do.
U.S.-based travel companies from Marriott to Booking Holdings are trimming their budgets and workforce ahead of next year as falling leisure travel demand from lower-income travelers hits top-line growth. They anticipate trends to moderate and for overall demand growth to be slightly stronger next year. I don't know if you really trade Marriott, MAR, or Booking BNKG.
I really haven't trade either of those, to be fair.
Yeah. Marriott, just to look at one, is a $288 stock, maybe up $1 at $289. Markets are okay there, maybe 30 cents wide. Not really that much volume. That's MAR.
I mean, they don't want my travel dollars because I am low budget, but they want your guys' travel dollars. I just want to know, are you guys doing Boomer Spring Break?
We plan to.
We're supposed to.
Okay. Have you booked anything yet?
No.
It requires somebody to take the lead.
It requires Jesus to take the wheel.
Something like that.
Okay.
We need what do they call it? Like a troop leader, you know. we need an organizer.
Okay. Yeah, who is the most organizational of all of you? Like, who is the planner?
Well, it'd probably be me.
Have you ever seen that comedian? She's like, every group has a Nicole. She's like, if you were the Nicole in your friend group, like you booked the tickets, you got the itinerary, you made sure everyone had their shots and their passports and everything. Like,
no, I can't do that. I don't.
You're
do
not
that.
Nicole.
I was gonna say he's not our Nicole.
You are not Nicole.
And he's definitely not our Samantha. Okay.
I think, but I'd be the one that. Well, I don't know. No, it's too hard to say.
You are the princess. Yeah.
He's definitely the princess.
Oh man. American, Delta, United Frontier, and Spirit Airlines together brought in $12.4 billion from seating fees between 2018 and 2023, a Senate report panel found. And the Senate has some questions. The Biden administration has vowed greater scrutiny of what it calls junk fees from airlines, hotels, and other companies. And these fees are very, very profitable. Like I said, the big airlines raking in $12 billion for just charging you for seats with extra legroom or for a seat in a preferred location or closer to the front of the plane. It's not sure if these protections are going to roll over to the new administration, but I like that you instantly get your money back if your flight gets canceled. Like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I think it's junk though. They're like, oh, you want to sit here? You need to give us more money.
I do think one of the most egregious things though one of the things that drives me crazy the most is the resort fee at a hotel that's not like
that's a junk fee. They're also taking aim at that. Yeah. You're like, I'm not using the pool.
Right.
I mean, I went to some place. They charged you $50 a day just for whatever, but I was only there for 8 hours. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this?
You book your hotels by the hour?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Hey, speaking of United, like Bat said, hockey stick kind of, what's it doing on this very busy travel day?
Yeah, UAL hanging out at $96 and change, only up 10 cents today. It had its first downtick yesterday where it wasn't up like $1.
And that's probably on this news that United says FAA staffing shortages of air traffic controllers is causing a significant disruption at its Newark hub. They said an acute shortage of air traffic controllers will cause significant disruption for travelers at its busy hub outside of New York City, probably why the stock ticked down yesterday. This is a losing battle that we are fighting because of restrictions and limitations on how long it takes to train these people and how long they can work past a certain age. It's a big old mess.
Yeah, it's a big old mess.
It's a big old mess. Hey, GameStop is back in the lineup, I guess, as the stock continues to climb, and growing sentiment on stock twits shows that a new GME squeeze is building. That's hard to say.
Easy for you to say.
I think that's what the sentiment. I think that's what they want you to believe.
Why would stock twits lie to me?
I don't think stock twits would lie. I think the people on stock twits would lie.
What's GME doing, though? I mean, I hadn't seen anything about it in the news, so I thought I'd put it in. I was like, oh, yeah, let's talk about it.
GME, $31 and change. Looks like it's up around $1. It's off of its lows of around $21 and change that it made early in November. So it's caught a little bit of a bid here, GameStop.
Okay.
IB rank of 23 is in there. It has earnings December 10th.
Okay.
Becoming a little bit more interesting at 31 than it was at 21.
The squeeze is coming.
Yeah.
Get squoze. Hey, Disney has agreed to pay $43 million to settle a lawsuit alleging that it paid men more than women. The settlement reached Monday stems from a 2019 lawsuit where a woman claimed that she learned that 6 men with the same job title earned substantially more than her, including one man with several years less experience, but who was earning $20,000 more than she did. About 9 9,000 women who both former and current employees joined the lawsuit. Disney disputed the allegations and didn't admit fault, but they paid out $43 million. Okay.
That's a good gig if you can get it. Disney unchanged with an Ivy rank less than 1 at $115 and change. Disney's been on a little bit of a tear here. Last 6 months or so, it's gone from around 85 to 115. Doesn't sound like a lot in this market, but you got to remember Disney for the year has about a $20 range. It's done that already in 6 months.
Hey, it looks like we're getting a clearer picture of the college football playoff selection as new brackets are forming. The 13-member selection committee only has 3 SEC teams in the bracket of its 4th ranking, with Alabama and Ole Miss dropping out of the top 12 Tuesday night following losses to unranked opponents over the weekend. Number 3 Texas and number 7 Georgia and number 8 Tennessee are on solid ground, but who loves my upstart Hoosiers and what they could be facing, but the playoff picture is shaping up. What are your thoughts?
I'm so happy that there's a college playoff finally.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good system. It's better than before.
Finally. This is like 4 decades too late, but yeah, bring it on.
All right, we will see what happens. Hey, finally today, because it's a special Wednesday, and it's not normally a Friday. I normally do this Friday, but Wednesday I'm going to throw you a bone. I like to do a little segment I like to call Will Tom Eat It, or I scour the internet for food for fat traders. But this is a Chicago Thanksgiving tradition. If you have the time and the availability, may I present this idea where you use a dipped Italian beef to make your stuffing or dressing. Watch this.
What could be bad? What could be bad?
Little jardinier.
Last year, my Italian beef combo stuffing recipe took off, so I decided to run it back again this year. So you need to start by picking up 2 beefs from your favorite spot, order it dipped with sweet peppers, separate the beef and peppers from the bread, cut the bread in cubes, and spread that on a baking sheet. Bake at 350 for 25 minutes or until the bread's completely dried and toasted. Roughly chop your peppers and set those aside. In a skillet, cook off some Italian sausage till it's brown and the fat renders. Remove it from the pan and add butter, onion, celery, carrot, garlic, and season with salt and pepper and 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. Sweat those veggies for a few minutes and remove those from the heat. Add back your sausage, your beef, your sweet peppers, and drained jardinera and mix that to combine. Whisk 2 eggs with a cup of beef stock and pour that onto your stuffing mix and toss until it's well combined. Then you're going to want to pour that into a buttered 8x10 pan, bake at 400 degrees for 30 minutes covered, and another 10 to 15 minutes uncovered until the top is well browned and crisp. Top that baby with some au jus, some more jarred, and get ready to celebrate Turkey Day the real Chicago way. Make sure to save this post and get the full recipe in the captions.
Yeah, the boy's got a winner.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I'll take 14 of them.
Hey, honey, get your coat. We got to buy 2 Italian beefs. All right, get ready.
Well, I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, you and your families, everyone. Please be safe. Tom, call me if you need help in the kitchen. Bat, what's coming up next?
Please be safe. What do you think? We're all still like deep frying our turkeys and we're going to blow our house up? I mean, that was so like 10 years ago. We're going to take a quick 90-second break and come back. We got more Tasty Live after this with Confirm and Send.
Tom doesn't know how yeast works. He's going to blow something up.
You're going to blow up his gram.
If you missed the live show, here's our cherry on top weekly recap.
Oh.
Did you watch Pulp Fiction?
I did. I watched it, but it was not very educational. I think it's pure entertainment. So.
That's what movies are supposed to be, Jajun. But if you ever had to dispose of a body, you learn something there, right? So you have to look at what you're learning here.
Oh, one thing I learned is you never want to go into a basement, and with a cop there.
That's right. Never ever.
We have an over/under, and when you're going to reach maximum crankiness, coming back.
I'm not cranky at all.
I have new toys, Sosnoff. right, Sosnoff. I have new toys. How about that?
Dr. Jim. Dr. Jim is in the house.
It may be better for me. I don't know. It might be an upgrade. I'm not sure.
We did a little survey here, Sosnoff. You and Scott talked a little bit about my sound effects. You wanted them to go away. We completed a poll. We had 34,000 votes, Sosnoff. 82% take the sound effects away. No, siree. No, siree. Keep those sound effects. That's right. You know why? The crowd has spoken. 34,000 votes. Enough out of you. Mr. Scott Sheriff of the Tasty Trade World Headquarters.
It's the worst, like, giving this kid a toy.
This is the best. I love this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We had a poll yesterday. Over 34,000 people, and 78% said that I should keep the sound effects. I really only use them with you and when Sosnoff is wrong about something. It was 82%. Sosnoff said I should keep it. 17% said
1% said not sure. They were on the fence and couldn't figure out which way to fall.
1% didn't want to vote, is what it came down to. They abstained.
They got into the ballot box and couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah. They just didn't understand the question.
Get the full scoop by checking out the archives at tastylive.com.
Tasty Trade has crypto, and you can trade with zero commissions. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and more. Diversify in one place. Crypto, we got it. We get it. Join the club, genius.
You can get up to $4,000 when you open and fund a new account with Tasty Trade. That's 4,000 buckaroos, 4,000 bills, or clams, 4,000 in dough or cheddar, not the cheesy kind. 4 large, 4K, 4 grand, which is no small thing. Open and fund a new Tasty Trade account. Get on the platform for traders who just want to trade. And did we mention a bonus of up to 4,000 smackaroos? Tasty Trade. Make your move.
Look who's back testing. Tasty Trade now has options back testing for free. Test your trades with over 10 years of data for the most popular symbols. See how your trades would have performed in the past. Look back at profit and loss and take the guess out of guesswork. Oh, did we mention that it's free? Get back testing at Tasty Trade.
Want to know what you're getting into before you dive in? When you trade options at Tasty Trade, you see your probability of profit and loss right where you need it. Tasty Trade. Make your move.
That's right, Sosnoff. That music can mean only one thing. It's time for a little bit of confirm and send. But before we do, let's take a quick look at the market. I know we just talked about it a little bit with Vanetta, but let's get to the futures. E-mini S&P is completely unchanged, down 50 cents. A NASDAQ down 34. Russell up 21, and the Dow up 83. The complete opposite of yesterday when E-mini S&Ps with NASDAQ were stronger, and the Russell and the Dow was weaker. The complete opposite today. Volatility doing exactly what it did yesterday. It's down small, very small, 15.25, but on its lows. Bonds doing a little bit of the opposite of what it did yesterday too. Bonds are on their highs, 118.24, up 23 ticks. Oil is up 42 cents at $69 and change. Gold catching a little bit of a bid after that $100 sell-off 48 hours ago, up 35. Big move of a little over 1 1/3%. Silver up 21 cents. Nat gas down 18 cents. That's actually a very big move, almost 5.5%. You can see here nat gas been on a tear the last week or two, going a little sideways the last couple of days with some violent moves in between there. Euro catching a little bit of a bid here too to the upside, which means the dollar will be a little bit weaker. /6M, my friends from Mexico, we're talking about the Mexico peso near its lows, Sosnoff making new lows at 48 and change. That's all I got, Sosnoff. Would you like to know how the futures are going to trade this weekend?
Sure.
Regular day futures trading today. Thanksgiving equities and interest rates close at noon. And then on Friday, you got gold and oil at 1:30, FX at 4 o'clock for Friday. Equities and interest rates close at 12:15. Metals, energy, and GX close at 1:45. That's all Central Standard Time.
Emails that came into us overnight, a little confirm and send. So just to keep everything on pace, because we don't want to keep Julia waiting.
Absolutely.
The other day I was asked, how do you prepare yourself for the week regarding trading? The truth is, since I try and apply tasty mechanics, I don't do much. I just wake up and go to the IVR watch list to see what I like and what I don't like, and then I manage my positions. Am I missing something? How do you guys prepare for the week or for the day when you're trading actively?
Yeah, I mean, the day changes. Each day changes so quickly that you have to do it each day. But I am looking at IVR. I'm looking at IVX 5-day change also. And also just at like the common stocks that we always trade, what's moving in there. So I'm doing exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, generally, I don't look at the IVR first thing. The first thing I look for is just kind of, I watch all the futures markets and just to see kind of what's happening, overnight, what's moving around. Clearly, I have a lot of different positions on a lot of different futures. So I just want to see all the futures markets. And most of my directional bets are kind of in the futures world. So I want to see all that stuff. And then I'll look at individual stocks, things that we played overnight, like earnings plays or something like that. And after that, then I'll look and see, hey, are there things I want to do? So the IVR watch list is not my top thing. It's probably down the list a couple of, notches. But generally, this is not the thing where we're going out and reading, the Wall Street Journal from cover to cover, or, I'm not sitting there studying CNBC or Bloomberg. That's for sure. There's nothing macro about it. Let's go next slide. I'm a tape reader. That's the simplest thing. One thing I've always believed in is when I hear something I think is a rumor, it is already news to the insiders, and I'm buying news. That's what they're selling. If this is so, is this so, or do you think the playing field is more level now?
I mean, the question's convoluted enough without you screwing it up completely.
It's it's not written great.
You want me to read these for you from now on?
Do you believe in the buy the rumor, sell the news? Is basically
I do believe in buy the rumor, sell the news.
You believe that there is such a thing as buy the rumor, sell the news. You're not a buy the rumor, sell the news. You're not a buy the rumor
buy the rumor, sell the news is what I like to do. I like to fade into the first move that they're, because of the news or because of everybody saying this, and then I like to sell into that. Yes, I don't believe in it.
The bottom line is we're not a buy the rumor. We're not a buy the rumor people. We're not buy the rumor people. We are sell the news people.
Yep.
That's all. Yep. Let's go to the next slide. I'm short a deep in the money call. The delta is 98. That means it's like so far in the money.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't expire until January. Is this trade defensible? And if so, how?
Is it defensible? You're a short stock, so you have to ask yourself: is there something to do against short stock? Well, the stock could go lower. That would be great for you. You don't need to do anything. You can sell a put, almost like a reverse covered call or an upside down covered call, where you're short stock, short put at maybe a delta somewhere between 15 and 30. Where if the stock goes lower, the put hopefully expires out of the money, and you still get all the gains from both the short put that you sold and the stock price movement that you have. So yeah, you can definitely do something against this. You could roll and sell a put. Yeah, there's a bunch of things you could do.
If you're short a deep in the money call, delta of 98, you are short stock. So in that case, is it defensible? Yeah, it's defensible. I would sell like an at the money put against it or a near out of the money put. You got to do something against it to reduce your risk. Yep. Or you can close it, but I think you got to sell an at the money put or a near out of the money put.
Yep.
Let's go. It requires no additional capital, but it takes about 35 to 50% of your risk off theoretically. Let's go next slide. As we approach the end of the year, do you roll your portfolio over based on what sectors you think will be in play next year? Does it make sense to make major adjustments like that at the end of the year?
No, nothing whatsoever. I don't look at any sectors that I think are going to under or overperform or anything else like that. My positions that I've had in probably October, November, December will be the same positions I probably have in January, February, with same stocks kind of thing.
You're asking a guy at the end of last year what the market would do this year, and he's off by 25%. How would he know, possibly even remotely know, what any one
We're
sector
taking a
is gonna
flyer.
do?
We're just taking a flyer, okay?
I mean, all you got to do is look at how bad the calls are, like for the upcoming year, what's going to happen, and I think that you'll realize in 1 second it's kind of a ridiculous assumption. You certainly could, but it doesn't mean anything. Like you certainly could. If you want to play the dogs and things like that, fine, but it doesn't mean a damn thing.
Right.
Let's go to the next slide. Is there a same-day percent profit you would...
Go ahead.
Is there a same-day percent profit you would close an options earnings trade made in 1 day on a trade before earnings? To be clear, earnings are after the close or before the next day's open.
I mean, I don't look at it as a percentage of profit, but I mean, I'm not expecting...
This is what happens when I dog sit.
I'm not expecting to make anything on an earnings trade before the event. So if it moves, the position moves exponentially on a percentage basis, I don't know, 10 to 25%. I'm looking to take it off. Probably.
I wrote back to this person and said, you know what, 25% is kind of my number. So like, there's a lot of times we'll put an earnings trade on, and we don't know what's going to happen, and all of a sudden, premium comes in like it comes in like, let's say it's $1. Let's say we sold something for $4, and 2 days before earnings, and now it's $3.
Yes.
I mean, that's really what you're hoping for, right? I mean, without taking any risk.
But if you sold something for $1.20 or $1.30 and all of a sudden was trading at, 90 cents or even $1, you might say, you know what? I mean, what am I hoping for here?
You're right. But if you're going to ballpark it, probably 25% at minimum. But, listen, it's a high-class problem to have. If you sell something prior to a binary event and it goes your way, it's a high-class problem.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. Let's go. So I'm going to stick with that 25%. And the last one. I attended the Tasty Live presentation in Dallas a few weeks ago, and I have a question about the sample $100,000 portfolio. Would it make sense to sell covered calls against the 20% stock allocation? Or would that somewhat defeat the purpose of the allocation itself?
Yeah,
I can answer this. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say, yeah, you most certainly should. And if you didn't have it in your presentation's flawed.
Flawed. The reason I didn't put it in there because...
there's a reason, is there? Go ahead.
Yes, because we hadn't got to the active part. This was just the passive part. But the answer is there's never a time, never, ever, ever a time when you buy stock that we would be opposed to you selling calls against that stock to lower your basis or improve your basis and to increase your probability of profit. There is never, I repeat, never a time when we would say it's a bad move to sell a covered call against long stock. Like it would not be part of our vocabulary. We would never tell you that. So no matter what, if you're long stock and you want to sell call against it, we are fully supportive.
Let's take a quick 90-second break and come back. We got more with Bad Trader and Julia next. We'll be back in 90 seconds. It's Tasty Live.
I'm like the Tupac of economists, going out on top. And will I ever really be gone? Say bye to Ben Bernanke. Cry your eyes out past the hanky. Gone from the Fed, but still looks swanky. Bye-bye, Chairman Ben Bernanke. Ben Bernanke, hardly knew ya. Ben Bernanke, Glad we're through, yeah? Sayonara, Mr. Yankee. Closing bell tolls for Ben Bernanke. Now, say hello to Janet Yellen. New blood, maybe start some selling? All around the world like a market Magellan. Hello, Janet Yellen. Janet Yellen, Professor Shady. Janet Yellen, new chair lady. Welcome in the new Miss Yellen. Different from the old, there's no telling. And I'm out, like Tupac, in a peaceful transition.
If you missed the live show, here's our cherry on top weekly recap.
The guys in Australia absolutely love it when they can make fun of you. It is part of the culture. If they have an opportunity to pounce all over you because you're an idiot, then they take every advantage of it in Australia. And
I welcome an Australian man to pounce all over me. Yeah, he could go down under,
Tom's gonna give me a hard time for this. Can't believe I'm gonna say this. I'm in a vulnerable state right now, so I'm gonna say it. Taking tap dancing lessons.
Hold on, what? The two of you are doing tap dancing.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I want to come watch. Please, can I come watch?
Don't make me come to your rehearsal. What do they call that? Not your rehearsal.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you're coming.
Graduation, like his graduation.
When I drop my recital.
Your recital.
Yeah, when I do my recital. Yeah, you're coming.
That's the freaking best thing you've ever said, son, though.
You're
I wanna
coming.
come.
You're coming. I'll tap in here one time. I'm gonna do it.
With your hair, you're gonna look like Borat.
I've seen you play golf. I think you should take up tap dancing.
Thank you. See, I knew you had to get a criticism in there some. I appreciate that.
TP refuses to adjust his webcam, so he does the show like this. And it's the most Bill Belichick camera angle I've ever seen.
It's, you know what? A couple times I asked him to change it because I thought it'd be better.
Everyone in production has asked him. Every single person.
I decided it looks great. I love it. Just leave it the way it is. If he can get away wearing that shirt with that pose, he deserves it.
Oh my God.
Like Chilean sea bass. It's actually toothfish or whatever, soft fish.
Ugly fish is what they call it.
Fish.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's Chilean sea bass. It sounds good.
I got a Chilean sea bass.
$50 a slice. He just eats
What do
it
you
up.
mean? Well, hold on. What do you mean you got a Chilean sea bass? If you tell me that you bought one and it's sitting in your refrigerator and or it's been in your freezer for a few years and you just uncovered it, what does it mean you got one?
Every time I go to Costco, I buy Chilean sea bass because I like it.
Ew.
And how do you cook them?
Oh, I have a system down. I cook them in.
Jesus, blessed Mary. I can't. I almost made it. I took your crap all freaking day long. I am not taking this. I want to get to Johnny Trades and I want to go.
Get the full scoop by checking out the archives at tastylive.com.
The delta of paper is equal to the partial derivative of rock with respect to rock, paper, scissors. If you think like a trader, we've got your back. Tasty Trade. Join the club, genius.
That's right, signing off. It's time for bad trading. Julia, how are you, darling?
I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm doing amazing, thank you, but I am with Tom.
I'm so sorry.
He's been a little out of control all morning, Julia, but you're here to tie things up, clean it up.
I'm the adult in the room.
Yeah.
You are the adult in the
Sadly.
room. I watch my P's and Q's when you're on.
Sadly.
I don't say
Relax.
silly
Sadly.
stuff at all.
A lot of trust. Well, are y'all excited for Turkey Day?
Yeah, we're excited.
Are you guys turkey people?
Not really, but I can handle it. I like it. I like
can
all
stomach it.
I can
I
stomach the
like
turkey?
everything that goes with it.
You're just
Yeah,
so
like
you're a
friends
side
and
person.
family and having Tony come over and visit.
No, I was thinking like gravy and stuffing, and I'm also making other.
Who needs the friends and family when you got the gravy and the stuffing?
Yeah.
Well, we started making fillets for Thanksgiving. They just kind of gave up.
Oh, that's not
I think
bad.
a lot of people do. I think a lot of people like a standing rib roast. I think is a good thing. We've done that before. My buddy's doing that.
Yeah, I did that. I did that once for Christmas. That was really nice. I like.
Yeah,
that.
really nice. Agreed. But it's gonna be too cold to do anything outside in Chicago.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
I need my outdoor grill for Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Oof!
Why?
You better.
Because I have part of my whole creation is outside.
The creation.
Can't you use the salamander?
So is it a turkey? What's in the outside? Why do
outside is a pork roast? Pork roast.
Oh, that sounds nice though.
Yeah.
Is it on a spit?
Oh, it's that kind of morning, isn't it, y'all?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Well, let's get into it. Nothing's like the adult in the room, like risk parity portfolio allocation. We're going back to, well, I put a lot more pictures.
Way to spoil the party. Risk.
Wow.
I know, right?
Risks.
All right, I'll go on the internet.
We got Julia and Jacob back to back today. Way to spoil the whole holiday.
Hey, I think this is a fun one. I put a lot more pictures in this one compared to the one from last week.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah, we got pictures this time. And it's also, this is a back of the envelope calculation, which I think is kind of fun. This is more for an equities portfolio. It's a little bit more nuanced when you want to apply something like this to options, because you want to keep in mind, obviously, position size, and you would want to measure risk in a different way. So this is kind of the classic one for an equities portfolio, but I still think the concept's really interesting, so I wanted to talk about it. Yeah?
Okay.
Let's do it.
Go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
for it.
Okay. So last week, we dove down this whole rabbit hole into modern portfolio theory as an approach to diversifying a portfolio. This was the kind of continuation of that whole portfolio diversification, portfolio allocation sort of series that we're talking about. And today I wanted to talk about this method, which can be used to determine portfolio weights based on the allocation of risk rather than the allocation of capital, which I think is a very interesting concept. Makes sense.
Okie dokie, sure.
Easy peasy, right? Like nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little bit of background, okay? So portfolio allocation strategies, they typically focus on allocations of capital that are most likely to achieve a certain level of risk, a certain level of reward, a certain level of diversification. So for this kind of example, let's just talk moderate growth equities portfolio, 60-40. This is going to be kind of hybrid, 60% stocks and 40% bonds and metals. So to keep it simple, our portfolio is going to have SPY, QQQ, Apple, TLT, and gold, 20% allocated to each. Right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Moderate growth equities portfolio. Okay, so when we take these 5 elements with equal capital allocations to each, our capital allocations on this chart are represented in red, and you can see they're all even, right? When you look at the risk contributions, not exactly the same thing as volatility, risk contributions, a different calculation, but when you look at the risk contributions of each of those components from 2015 to 2022 in white, you can actually see that SPY, QQQ, and Apple have much greater risk contributions compared to TLT and GLD, which is what you would expect, right? They're much lower volatility assets. So if you're allocating kind of 20% of your capital to each, you would kind of expect that Apple would, as a more volatile asset, contribute a lot more risk to this portfolio. The total portfolio volatility is 13.7%. The risk contribution of Apple is about 5%. So a lot of that's coming from Apple, and then you got good amount coming from NASDAQ, good amount coming from SPY, and then very little coming from TLT and gold, which is, again, expected, right?
Right. Yes. Sure.
Right? Okay, so the idea of a risk parity portfolio is that we kind of want all of these components to sort of contribute equal amounts of risk to the portfolio overall, and to figure out what weights we would need in order to achieve that. And it really focuses on this idea of allocating risk rather than allocating capital. And so this is a risk parity portfolio. An example of that. And you can see those white bars, those risk contributions are a lot more even. This, risk parity portfolio has, a volatility of about 10% with about 2% coming from each. And you can see there's a much greater emphasis on TLT and GLD when you do this risk parity approach, and then much less allocated to Apple and the NASDAQ and SPY, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
So The actual process of calculating the weights for a risk parity portfolio is actually a pretty intense numerical optimization problem that I'm going to dive into more on Bad Trader because we got more time there. But there's a nice, like, naive back of the envelope calculation that I wanted to kind of cover. It doesn't get as close to the true risk parity as I'd like, but it gets you a little bit closer than the sort of original idea of just equal weight capital allocation. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. I'm there.
Okay. So we're going to show some math, but it's actually not as bad as it looks. We'll go through a numerical example in a second. But when we look at naive risk parity allocation, it's sometimes called inverse volatility weighting. The goal really is to give a higher weighting to lower volatility assets and vice versa. So the risk contribution is a little bit more even. It's a little roughly the same across assets, although I'll show the actual results in a second. It doesn't get as close as actual risk parity, but it's, for a back of the envelope calculation, not that bad. This is the equation. I'll show, again, a numerical breakdown in a second. But basically, to determine the weight for each asset, we want to take 1 over the volatility of the asset divided by the sum over 1 over the volatility of all the assets in the portfolio that we're looking at. For n assets in our portfolio is what this equation is kind of looking at. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly how we that's the back of the envelope. I mean, I don't know the formula, but that's the back of the envelope approach we use right now. Sure.
Yeah, it's probably the back of the envelope thing that you do in your head. Although I will say, for options, it'd be a little bit different because here I'll show the example.
We don't do it with options. I mean, we do it with the underlying.
Right. So yeah. So this, I think, has interesting applications in options. But again, this process is more for an equities portfolio because the way that you measure risk is obviously different with options. And this kind of assumes a fully allocated portfolio, whereas we want to control our position sizes when it comes to options. So there's more nuance there. But the equities scenario is a little bit more interesting. And so here, for example, we got our let's go back at our example portfolio: SPY, QQQ, Apple, TLT, and gold. 2015 to 2022, we have all of our daily returns, right, during that period. So first things first, we're going to calculate our standard deviation of daily returns of that asset. So for SPY, it's about 1.14%. Makes sense. Daily returns volatility about 1.14% historically. QQQ is 1.40, Apple 1.83, et cetera. You can also use IV here in place of historical volatility, which is actually kind of cool. So if you don't want to calculate it yourself, you can just pull it from a platform and then plug it into that formula that I showed. But first things first, we got to measure risk. So for equities, we would use kind of returns standard deviation, right? Makes sense, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And then once we have that, we would just kind of plug those weights into that equation. So for SPY, for example, you would take 1 over the volatility for SPY, 1 over 1.14, and then divide it by the sum of 1 over all of the volatilities in the portfolio. So 1 over 1.14 plus 1 over 1.40 for the Qs plus 1 over 1.83 and so on. And then you would get about 20% as your risk parity portfolio approximation weighting for SPY. Yes?
Okay.
You can use annualized volatility. You can use daily volatility. It kind of doesn't matter as long as all the volatilities are time scaled the same way. So like IV is annualized as long as you use IV for all the assets, or as long as you use daily returns volatility, as long as they're all the same, that can kind of work.
And why can't we just use notional times the volatility?
You can, that works too.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you wanted to apply that to equities, we want to be inclusive around here, perhaps, for all the different types of traders. This is the equities approach. But like you said, it's actually very similar to some of the other types of, strategies that options traders use. It's just with different metrics. Yeah. So if we now take this and we repeat this for all the different assets in the portfolio, it gets us closer to risk parity. When we do this again, this back test from 2015 to 2022, now those white bars, those risk contributions are a little bit closer to being even. And we can see that our weights, as we would expect, give much higher weighting to TLT and GLD, with about 25% allocated to each, and then closer to 12% allocated to Apple, 20% allocated to SPY, and so on. And then, those are more even risk contributions, but it's not as close as even as the actual risk parity can actually get you. But that being said, it is closer, and for a back of the envelope calculation, I think it's a pretty simple thing to do, and it's pretty easy to understand. And it does get you a little bit closer. But again, true risk parity, which you probably wouldn't implement yourself. There's online tools that can be used to kind of do this calculation. But the back of the envelope way, I think the process is interesting.
Well, it clearly looks a lot better than the equal weight. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's a little bit better.
Yeah.
But That being said, I think one of the drawbacks of doing this is that it really doesn't take like your expected returns goals into account. We're really just trying to sort of, equalize sort of risk contributions to a portfolio, and with the goal of maybe having a higher Sharpe ratio, of having more stable returns over time. But depending on your goals as an investor, expected returns are obviously something you'd want to keep in mind. So I don't use any of these diversification or weight techniques in a vacuum. You usually want to use it with a bunch of other stuff. Especially, for options, like the way you measure risk is very different, right? So this isn't quite one-to-one.
Got it. True. Okay.
Easy peasy.
Interesting. Good.
It's a fun one, right? It's a fun,
Yeah.
We're going back to form a little bit. And a lot more pictures this time. But just to conclude, risk parity portfolio allocation focuses on the allocation of risk rather than the allocation of capital, with the goal of having each asset contribute roughly the same amount of risk to the portfolio overall. And while true risk parity is a pretty complex optimization problem, there's a naive approach that can approximate these weights with a back of the envelope calculation that places more emphasis on lower volatility assets and vice versa. And next week on Bad Trader, because again, that's a live stream, so we can just go into these crazy dives. We're gonna go into more of the methodology behind true risk parity and talk about our covariance matrices and such. But this one was a bit of a lighter version of that, so I thought it'd be fun to kind of go through this morning.
Very nice. A good job out of you.
Your light versions aren't that light, but yeah, it's good.
Anybody can do it. You just need an envelope and a paper. You're good.
Anybody can do it. All you need is an envelope and a pen and paper.
Way to calculate standard deviation or a platform. Yeah, you're good.
Good job. Good job out of you. You know what? We're going to take a quick 90-second break. We'll let the production team take a quick 90-second break. We'll be back with the opening bell right after that. Good job out of you, young lady.
Thank you, Miss Spina.
How much does it cost you guys to do simultaneous hair flips?
Years of practice.
Everybody wanna be like me, yeah.
Dear Chad, thank you for trusting me with the workload of 5 people this week. It was an invaluable learning experience. All 97 hours.
Sometimes it feels good to get smart. Get even smarter with live trading insights and some live taunting.
You made me print out something for you in 40-point font.
From the smart mouths at tastylive.
Clip thy waxen wings, thou economic Icarus. Discard these feathery adornments, thy flight's too vigorous. Rather, garb thyself with the soft fur of the bear, and dwell in low burrows of the valley fair. Forsake thy previous highs and perilous summit, for lo, I am short, so I must needs thee plummet. O market, I implore thee, make no high. Like some comic Fozzie, unclip thy bow tie. If thou dost tumble, I shall offer thee up a succulent hoagie. So, ye markets, remain as bearish as beloved Yogi. Follow thee the lead of Kipling's Baloo, and may the move be sweet as honey to Winnie the Pooh. With joy I watch descending chart lines straighten, run down with quickness and sweetness, like Lord Walter of Peyton. Let curious traders admire thy Berenstein way, and joyfully stealing some porridge, let us now say, Sweet bearish market, never would I cage her, but admire her drop like some terrestrial Ursa Major. Come down, ye markets, to this sylvan glade, and let the bears have their day at Tasty Trade.
This is Chicago. We invented the skyscraper, the Italian beef, and the standardized options market. CBOE is not only the birthplace of options, it's also where Liz and Jenny got their start. In an industry first, two female former floor traders broadcast live from the floor. Hear the sounds of live market action and feel the electricity as they present real-time trade ideas and research-backed market studies live from the CBOE's SPX pit. Watch Liz and Jenny live from the CBOE, only on Tasty Live.
Want to know what you're getting into before you dive in? When you trade options at Tasty Trade, you see your probability of profit and loss right where you need it. Tasty Trade. Make your move.
Tomas, we are back, my friend. You know what that means. Time for a little bit more Tasty Live here with the opening bell. We've got about 4.5 minutes or so, so let's take a look at what's going on. Even the S&Ps are down 5 handles. You'll see here that they've had about a $23 range top to bottom. At 6,033, they're at just about exactly mid-range for the day, down 5 ticks. NASDAQ down 44. Even the S&Ps and NASDAQ were the strongest of the group yesterday. They're the weakest of the group today, as you got the Russell up 15 and you've got the Dow up a small 37. Russell, the strongest of the group. Volatility completely unchanged at 1529, and bonds are up 25 ticks out off to 118.26. They are on their highs for the day and taking back all of the sell-off in November. I think that has to make you happy.
Not making me sad.
No, that's
I'm bidding
for a guy who's not happy unless he's unhappy. I guess I see the logic there. Yes, I get it.
I'm bidding for some notes now below the market, and
notes up 13 ticks. They are a half a tick off of their highs, Sosnoff.
They are, and I'm considering putting in a bid to buy some bond puts on the bid.
Buying back some bond puts. That is correct.
Buying Bitcoin, back some bond puts on the bid.
Bitcoin hanging out now at 95,000 and change, taking back all of its losses, most of its losses from yesterday at 95,700. The high 95,500 so far today. Oil completely unchanged at 68.67, but that is on the low end of its range for today. Gold up 30. Gold is closer to its highs than its lows for the day, but I'll call it almost mid-range. Silver up around 7 cents. Gold is up more on a percentage basis than silver. Net gas down 21. That's your big mover in the oil and gas space. That's a 6+% move to the downside. 21 cents on nat gas, trading 3.25, and the euro is still strong for the day. You can see they're making that little spike down about 3 days ago. A nice little rally on the euro. Euro up, dollar down. That makes Sosnoff also not angry.
No, that makes me very, very happy. Nat gas, yeah, but the thing with nat gas, again, when it goes down, they kill premium. So it's been a good day. When it goes up 20 cents, we get killed. When it goes down 20 cents, we make money.
That is correct.
I've rolled down calls. Yeah, I'm bidding for some bond puts and some note puts right now. Take some profits from yesterday. I'm a little bit away. A couple ticks.
Crowd for earnings is going to be a good one. It looks basically unchanged. Yeah, down $5 or $6, but I think it had a $35 or $40 expected move. Down $5 is unchanged. I mean, the premium seller's delight there.
Yeah, we have a small position on. We're short a What strangle do we have on the 300, 460? That's got to be a nice winner. And then we also are short some extra 300 puts that I sold as a kicker. So
how do you do it? I mean, how do you know?
You really don't know, Tony. Every once in a while, the option gods look down on you and they say, you know what? You
poor bastard. Man, look at
bastard.
how you have suffered. We're going to throw you a bone today.
That's exactly right.
That's good. That must be. Those are your bond puts. You're buying back some.
Bond put, yeah. Well, we sold those a lot higher yesterday. Well, bonds are up almost a full point from where we sold those.
Beautiful.
I like it.
Saved by the bell, Osnoff. Even the S&P is down 4.5. Nasdaq down 70 or so. It is. I mean, we don't know how the day is starting as a non-event. We'll see how it ends up going here. Dell for earnings down $17. Boyle, which is a very hard, I would call it almost untradeable product, a leveraged leveraged natural gas product, down almost $7. CRM down 6.5. Microsoft down 3.5. Netflix down almost 3. Nvidia down 3. Palo Alto Networks down 2 and change. TSM down almost $2. Amazon down around 60 or 80 cents. Let's see what's moving to the upside. You got Coin up $10 after being down around 16 or 18 yesterday. UNH helping the Dow up $8. Dix up $6. Reddit sold off a little bit yesterday, up $2 and change. And Tesla up $2.50. Tesla IV rank in the 40s now. Tesla IV rank has really come down the last 3 or 4 days from the high 80s to the 40s. I hope, hoping all the premium sellers out there.
All right, let's take a look at our CrowdStrike. I don't know, are the options open yet? Stock's down $10.
I'm looking. Yeah. You can tell if the options are open if the options themselves are red and green, just like Christmas time, Sadnov, and they are starting to open those options. They're not all open, but they're there. Wide markets, $3, $5. Give them a little second here, Sadnov, to get it going.
I agree. I'm just putting some orders in. Not doing anything else. Let's take a look. Well, one stock that we have to adjust is going to be probably Coinbase, but we'll see. Markets are kind of wide. You got to be careful in these, early wide markets. Who's down 9? I like it. How about MSTR? MSTR up $24. Yeah, we're going to have to roll up some putties in there too. Here, putty. Ooh, these markets are wide too.
Yeah.
Yep.
You gotta wait. A little bit.
Oh yeah.
Even the S&P is down 7. Nasdaq down 100 and change. That's about a 0.5% move. And the Russell up 23.
Yeah. The tough ones are the wide markets.
Of course. Coin up $9. Gold GLD up $2.
Yeah. Gold's a tough one.
UAL basically unchanged, up 8 cents.
Gold's been torturing me every day.
Gold's been torturing me too.
Yeah, every freaking day, that stock. What do you think here, Pat, on this opening? I love the Russell.
They do love the Russell. Volatility's in by 15 cents. I think you can go home. Sound enough days over. There you go. I said
it. All right, let's see. Where is this so-called CrowdStrike? Where is this so-called CrowdStrike? Oh, now it's getting tighter markets. Let's see. Nope, can't buy it back yet. I'm working it, boss.
Okie dokie.
You would think somebody'd be a seller in there.
You would think.
Filled. 142. Not sure where we sold it at yesterday. I'll check that in a second.
No problem. Bonds up 24.
Had to be about $1.50 higher, I would say.
Mm-hmm. You got your crowd in at $1.42. It looks like.
Right. I don't know where I sold it at.
I could take.
So I have to take a little bit of a look here. Probably around $3. I'm guessing.
300, 460. Yeah, the 300 puts were trading at $1.76 alone. So. Yeah, it's a good one. End up being a very good one. Probably one of your better ones. For a guy like you.
For a guy like you.
That was a good one. Should have done more.
I wish I knew that.
Why don't you do more of the ones that work, Sosnoff?
You know what? I once told a broker in the OEX bit, he goes, "Are you going to make a market today?" I go, "Only on the winners." He goes, "Okay, I'll tell you which ones are the winners." He didn't share with me for the rest of the day.
I don't blame him. And you probably fixed him. Now he probably works for you.
Probably. Bum. He was a bum. There are a lot of bums.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm trying to roll. Let me just do this. Let's get out of CrowdStrike. You know what? Down $15. I don't really care about CrowdStrike.
Okie dokie. You out
of CrowdStrike. Put a fork in. You are
beautiful.
It was actually good.
Yeah, it was actually a real nice one. Even the S&P down 7 and really haven't moved too much.
Coinbase, small loser this morning. MSTR, hold on one second. Small winner, so that's okay.
Beautiful.
Our deltas are small short. Our theta's decent. P&L wise, today's going to be a good one so far because we got the right position on. And then,
please don't spit up. Please don't spit up in the air.
I know. What about biggest losers so far today? Biggest loser.
Present Coinbase. Company. Oh, Coinbase being up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about it. I don't have any losers today. Man,
good job out of you. That's nice.
Every day should be the weekend before Thanksgiving.
From your mouth to whoever's listening. Hey, let's listen right now and take a quick 90-second break. You want to know why? Because we got What's Your Assumption coming up next. I don't know if our viewers came to bat for you. We'll be back in 90 seconds. Let's take you live.
Morning, Uncle Craig. I really appreciate all the investment advice you bestowed upon me this holiday season. That opportunity Prince Harry emailed you about sounds interesting, but I think I'll just stick to watching Tasty Live.
Sometimes it feels good to get smart. Get even smarter with live trading insights and some live taunting.
I don't kick the cat or the dog or the small children until the day of Christmas.
From the smart mouths at Tasty Live.
If you missed the live show, here's our cherry on top weekly recap.
You know, like when I answer the confirm and send, that's
By the way,
in the question.
What are you eating?
Him? Peanuts.
Yeah.
Pistachios.
I ate a pistachio. You're eating and you're just kind of like chewing while he's talking. Like,
no,
nothing.
Always. It's
not eating. Do you have some control over there?
None. No.
None.
And there's shells everywhere.
Oh my God, this is so good. I hope you can see this guy. I pray that you can, but I don't think you're going to be able to.
I pray that you can.
I pray that you can. I can't say who, but one of our insiders sent me this. This is Tom. I'm eating peanuts on air, and I don't care face. Here you go.
That's not on air. That's in the commercial.
What do you mean? How did they get it? It's not on air.
They just made that up. See? Yeah, that's what we didn't want to see.
I'm surprised you like. I don't like
the way you chew your nuts. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that right now.
It was a great show. It was very inspirational and motivating.
I feel like you got to know each of the traders a lot better on a personal level. It was awesome.
This is my 10th or 11th live event. I thought the math was really complicated and it wasn't, and then it just made sense.
They've opened my eyes to many different strategies.
And I realized there's a reasoning and strategic planning that you could do to be successful. I love all you guys.
If you have any questions, feel free to toss them in the chat.
Success is a combination of lots of non-correlated or lightly correlated underlyings to reduce risk.
It's better for your investments to trade volatility than it is to own S&P index funds at Vanguard. That's what you're saying.
I can't sleep at night as a passive investor.
Why not?
Because I think the risk is too great. Here I am, I'm a derivatives trader. I have hundreds, if not thousands of positions on, and I sleep fine because I know what I've done. What we do, it's a mathematical equation. What asset other than fear is mean reverting? And it requires no additional capital to play both sides of the market, then why would you even be directional in the first place?
The problem with what you're saying is it makes a little too much sense.
Yeah, it's logical.
And so it raises a lot of
scares the crap
skepticism because it makes a little too much sense.
You can get up to $4,000 when you open and fund a new account with Tasty Trade. That's 4,000 buckaroos, 4,000 bills, 4 large, 4K, 4 grand. Get on the platform for traders who just want to trade. Tasty Trade. Make your move.
Tomas, we are back, my friend. You know what that means. Time for a little bit more Tasty Live right now, right here. With what's your assumption?
I'm ready.
Now we're ready, Sosnoff. We weren't ready till then.
Now I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Yeah, what's your assumption? So these are assumptions that people have made, and we're going to try to put some into action. Let's see what we got.
Trading assumptions that people put in, and we're going to.
You don't know. We haven't looked at them yet. You don't know. They could just be assumptions in general. The world's coming to an end.
Okie dokie. Got it. Yeah. My bad.
tastylive.com/assumption. You could be assumption on anything. See, this person, Pamela, is from Moscow, Idaho. Do you know that I have been to Moscow, Idaho?
Okay. How about this? I believe my mother-in-law was born there.
In Moscow, Idaho?
I know she was born in Idaho. I don't know if she lived in Moscow or she was born there.
Well, Pamela, I've been to your lovely town, city. I guess it would be a large town, small city.
Yeah,
Moscow. Isn't Moscow where Washington State University is?
I'm not 100% sure. I can
know
look it up.
Right across the border. I can't remember. It's right there. I've been there though. Anyway, CVX neutral DSJAN at the.
Wouldn't Washington State be in Washington?
You would think, but it's right on the border. It's literally.
I'm going to bet a lot of money that Washington State is in Washington. I haven't looked it up yet.
It is. But it's on the border.
I would like you to pick a number, then double it.
You can stand in the middle of.
Here's
town.
my hands.
You can stand in the middle of town and you can straddle the Washington-Idaho border.
Maybe you can because you got those long, pinny legs. Those long, folly dancer type legs.
All right, Pamela. We don't need him. CBX.
At the money call calendar, low implied volatility. What are you going to do? Low IVR. What are you going to do, Saz? What are you going to do?
Well, DECE is only 23 days. So can we do Jan Feb? It makes more sense to me.
You certainly can.
We're a little bit inverted vol-wise if we do that, but
I like that you're looking at this, Saz. You are right. You're about 2.5 vol points in the wrong way, meaning that Feb is higher than Jan. That's about on the cusp of when I would make this trade.
That's because they have earnings coming up, and then it's actually higher again in March. So I think it's okay. I'm going to do it because I just don't want. I want to roll all my positions in DECE. So where are we right now? She wants to do an at the money call calendar, low IVR. Stock is trading for 164, right?
Yes, CVS has earnings January 31st. You are correct, Sazonov.
Yeah. So the choice here is we can do a couple of different ones. CVX, the high end of its range, I'm kind of neutral on it. If we sell, we can do the Jan Feb 160 put side, which is 193, or we can do the 165 call side, which for some, it's 183. So which would you rather do? The call calendar for 183 or the put calendar for 190? They're about 6 cents apart.
Yeah, 6 of one, half dozen of another. Pick your poison.
Pick your poison. So would you do the call calendar at 165 or the put calendar at 160? I think I'll do the put calendar at 160. I don't think there's a huge difference. I'm just not incredibly bullish for Q1.
So enough, Idaho State University and University of Idaho are in Idaho. The other ones are in Washington. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't get all uppity.
I'm working this order, Pamela. I'm doing a little price discovery here. Well, I didn't have to do much. 191. I thought it was a little high on the screen, so we got it 191, which is about right. All right, cool. Let's go. Let's see what else we got. Nick, what's next? Abhishek from San Mateo, California, looking at Coinbase. We have a lot of Coinbase positions on. Extremely high IV, blah, 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 trading in a natural. What about a strangle or an iron condor? Well, we do have a strangle on here, Abhishek. Let's just see what we got. Because it may be time to recenter this sucker for Jan. Because we are currently in DECE and we are going to recenter in Jan. The time has come. It's up $13 today. We've already rolled twice. Came in with the 345, 255, rolled up to 275, rolled up to 280. And now what we're going to do is we're going to roll out to January. So we're going to actually put our Jan position on right here. And we're going to reduce our risk. We're going to take it down to the probably right around the 16 delta. I don't think you want to have a lot of risk in this crazy stock.
Fair.
Just so you know. I mean, you obviously can do whatever you want, but I'm going to do the 230, 470.
Well, that's what the segment is about, Sadnov. They come up with assumptions, and you find something that fits and fits your assumption also. And
230, 470. Take a fill. That's what I'm in right now. 230, 470 in January. Rolled it ahead. It's pretty delta neutral. I'm a little bit short with it. A little tiny bit.
I did a double ratio spread in coin to get a little bit neutral too. You got a lot of call skew. I just was outlining on my option trades today, every Tuesday and Thursday. Lucky for you, yesterday was Tuesday, how the call ratio spread was almost 2 to 3 times as much premium as the put ratio spread, highlighting the skew in the calls.
Yeah, so I did that one, Abhishek. We'll see what happens. 16, 17 delta right there. Terry from Jackal Island, Georgia. Really? There's a place called Jackal Island, Georgia, huh? Never been there.
It's right near the island of Punta Gorda in the Caribbean Sea.
We do not have a PLTR position, I don't think. Oh, yes, we do. Where are we here? We're in December. We have kind of a skewed iron condor on in December, which I don't care about, don't care about. It's about a scratch. We're going to cover that right now because we'll move right into Jan. And we'll do what our boy Terry here wants to do in Jan. PLTR is not Bitcoin. Totally agree. IV rank is 36. It's rich. There's some juice in here. Do I love this stock? Nah, because it's really hard to trade so far. I think you got to go super wide. What do you think, Bat? 55, 85?
Sure.
A lot of call skew. Let's stay small and see what happens. Tick of fill, 223, one tick off mid price. Let's go to the next slide. Terry, just a wide strangle for now.
Okay.
In Jan. Let's go to the next one. Mike from Olympia, Washington. Been there too.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
What are you doing in Washington? Oh, you got a little Gumana over there?
Maybe another family. Let's take a look. He's neutral. I know Boeing hasn't been friendly. You know what? Surprisingly, it's been better than you think because we've been leaning long in Boeing. So
took a little heat at times, but this rally from 130 and change to 150 has helped. Sure.
Shoot, yeah. What is that? Oh, notes.
Buying some notes back, enough.
I like it. I like it. Low of the day in there.
Buying some note puts, I should say.
Yeah,
that means
back at 18.
Yes, that means the bonds and notes are going higher.
Yeah, it's good. We are going to do the 140, 170 in the 140, 170 in January. I have a December position on, and we are going to roll it to Jan. This is a perfect time to do it live on the show. We're working it right now. Let's see if we get filled. Let's see. Oh, I'm way too low. Let's try this. Nothing done yet. We're still working it. Let's go to the next slide. Teresa from Bern, Switzerland. Love it. A little Aussie dollar. She's bullish in there. We have been long all the currencies. We have not traded the Aussie. Ooh, it's up 360 today. Can't touch it. That's a big move, Teresa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just to be fair, we're long the British pound. We're long the euro, which is up 770 today, and we're long the Japanese yen. So we're having a good day in all the currencies. So there's nothing bad happening here. Let me just do this.
Yep.
Let me see where we got it. Oh yeah, we're gonna roll up a little British pound here. But we're gonna pass on this just because it's up huge today. And if it was down, I'd put it on. If it goes down the next day or so, we'll put it on. All right, next slide. Can't get filled in Boeing for some reason. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. No, I'm not. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, finally filled in Boeing. So we sold the Jan 140, 170 strangle. Gold, Sean from Hong Kong. High IVR. Thinking about selling an Iron Condor. Sure. /GC. Gold's up $30 today. We currently have.
It's down $70 in the last couple of days, approximately.
Yeah. Well, let me get to our gold position here. Gold. So
gold.
We have a strangle on in Dees. We could definitely. What does he want to do? Dees or Jan? I think it should be Jan. Yeah, I think for me, I'd rather be short the strangle in Jan than the. I'd rather be short the strangle in Jan. So what we're going to do, Sean, is we're going to sell a Jan strangle. Let me find this good strike here. About the 20 delta. That's the 25.45 put. And on the call side, let's see, where the hell are the 20? 28.30.
Okie dokie.
And we're one tick away from getting a fill. So let's see what happens. Nope, that's a different order. Hold on one second. There you go. filled. So we sold the Jan Strangle in there, the 25.45, 28.30. Let's go to the next slide.
And you rolled up, I think, some pound puts, correct?
I get filled? Yes. So all we did in the pound, we just wanted to make sure we kept our delta a little bit long in all of these currencies. I am definitely
so that would be an offense. That would be an offensive roll up, something you never see Tom do because he's never typically correct at this.
Right. I'm doing the same thing in the euro. I'm actually rolling up puts, even though we're making money today.
Yeah.
Because I want to stay long these things and let's do this now. We are going to Tesla for Jeff. Jeff from Miami.
Tesla Ivy ranked 35, so I don't know if it's in about 40 handles in the last couple of days.
Neutral to slightly bearish. I'm a neutral, slightly bearish in there as well, Jeff. It's time to sell Tesla. Jan, we don't have a Jan. We don't have any Jan position. We have some Jan strangles on, but no Jan short deltas. I think it just got to be. I think it's time to be short Tesla. 40. Ivy ranks dropped a little bit. Maybe it's time to buy a put spread in there. What do you think, Pat?
I do. Maybe, I mean, if you're going to get directional, I'd rather see you do that or some sort of diagonalized trade. You got Jan and Feb. You do have that same kind of 2 vol point difference between the two because of earnings.
I'm going to go 40-30. It's
on a pure directional play.
Pure directional, 40-30. Going to trade around $5.20, maybe-ish.
Mm-hmm.
What's Tesla? Up 14 cents? Maybe. 5.23. I overpaid by a penny. I did. I meant to put 5.22. I missed. Anyway, 5.23, Jeff, but I bought the 40-30. Let's go next slide. Benny from South Barrington. Dow is trading ahead of the other indices. I'm leaning towards a counter diagonal since its IV rank is low. Man, we haven't traded the Dow in a while.
No, we have not.
You got to do Jan Feb here, Benny, but the IV rank is low. I think the Dow is a little rich too myself. Let's say it's 450 right now. Let's do, I don't know, it's got a lot of volume at 445 and 440. 1,000 points lower, 500 or 1,000 points lower. Let's go 500 for a tester. Sell the Jan 445s, buy the Feb 445s. Mid price is 193, right? Why is there no volume there's very little volume in the Dow.
Yeah, well, take a look at some of the markets. I mean, if you're looking at Jan options, I mean, they're 20 cents wide. I mean,
I don't like these Feb options, Benny. They're $2 wide at the money puts. Look at these puts. They're 640, 10, 840.
Yeah, 990, 650, 990 on the 47s. Yeah, with no volume at all. Zero volume. And I know we're only a half hour into the day, but that's why markets are wide in there.
I don't like the markets, Benny. I don't like the markets in the Dow. I don't blame those guys because there's not a lot of trade in there, but I don't like the markets. I'm going to pass.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. You can get filled in there because it is an index. You can get filled, but I don't like it. I probably don't need that enough. Yeah, let's go. Let's keep going. AJ from LA is bearish in Netflix. Did Netflix just drop like $40 the other day?
Netflix did have a little bit of a move down. It's down $3.50 today. It is well off its highs of around 900 that it just made 48 hours ago, trading $8.69, so about $30, Sadnov. Yes. Ivy rank is still 11 in there. It too has that same Jan Feb thing. I think it's a Jan trade if you're going to do anything in here.
What would you do in here?
I think that's an excellent question. I would still look to be getting a little bit kind of short in here. I think ratio spreads. I know the IV rank is relatively low here, but taking advantage of that call skew, it is definitely a high price stock, so it's going to use a lot of buying power. So you got to reduce your size, or maybe it doesn't fit most people in here. But you can, you can go $50 wide, Sosnoff, on some of these trades, and still get yourself a buck credit on something, $40-$50 wide. So I don't know.
You gotta go. You gotta go. 2 times the. You gotta go at least.
Well, the expected move is $70. Let's just say for the whole month of January. So you're looking at, say, $150. The stock's let's just say 670. I mean 870. So you're looking at somewhere around $1,000. If you're doing 2 times, the options are still $5 out there.
Okay, I have a trade that I kind of like.
Go ahead.
Buy 2 of the 950s.
Oh my God, it's a 2x3. I can't tell you. Yeah.
Sell 3 of the 975s.
950s. They got a 20 delta. That's not like you. Are you freaking kidding? Are you freaking kidding me? Whoa. Did your wife give you a little bit of an allowance or something like that?
Hold on, I want to do this for a credit. I got it as a debit. Take this back. It's debit. I thought it was going to be a credit.
Yeah, there we go. Now you're starting to read.
It was.
Now you're starting to read the screen. Now you're starting to read the screen.
Hold it. It was a credit, and then the market just downticked. The stock was down 3. Now it's down 5. You know what, AJ? I kind of like this trade, but it's got to be done for a credit. I got to wait for the stock to bounce a little bit.
Sosnoff, 1,010, 1,040, 1x2 for $1.53. $1.10, $1.40, 1,040, 1x2, $1.53 mid price.
No, I like my trade better.
Of course you do. Because you could possibly kiss your sister is about the best thing that can happen to that trade. You make about 9 cents.
You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind.
Even the S&P is down 10, Sosnoff, trading near the lows for the day.
Yeah, that's okay for me. I mean, I don't like the fact that Coinbase is up $14. That's a huge move, and I'm not sure what MSTR is doing. Let me see. My biggest loser is Coinbase.
MSTR is up 10%, $38. Make you holler.
Yeah, getting hurt in there. Those are my 2 biggest losers. Stupid Bitcoin. Yeah, put this order in Netflix for a credit. I'm going to need the stock. I'm going to need the stock to rally a little bit. It's down $5 now. It was down $3 when we put it in before.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to leave it in and for a 50-cent credit and see if we get filled. Let's go next slide. From Sacramento, California, Hattie from Sacramento is looking at CMG. Man, we haven't traded CMG. Bullish on CMG going near. Where's CMG trading? Like $55? I have not looked in a while.
CMG is trading $61, almost $62. It's down 90 cents. Yes, you are correct.
Wow, nice rally in CMG. We've been trading this thing in the low 50s, mid 50s. Bullish on CMC. It's an interesting one. What would you do in here? There's a little volume. It's okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm just a put seller in here. I kind of like trading CMG.
Put seller after this wild move up. You are a crazy hoe today.
I know, but it's.
And I know you got short delta everywhere, but I would have done both sides.
Nah, sold some 58 puts at 80 cents.
Okie dokie.
Still working the Netflix trade. All right, that's all I got.
All right.
Oh, Looking to see what's going on here this morning. See what else. Okay, so as a quick little recap, let's see what time it is. Oh, 9:04, perfect. CBX filled. We don't have what we did in here, Beth. CVX, we did the put calendar spread. Coinbase, we sold a strangle. PLTR, we sold a strangle. Boeing, we sold a strangle. 6A, we didn't do anything because the stock's up. The future's up too much today. In gold, we also sold a strangle. We're putting on some jam positions. In Tesla, we bought a put spread. In the diamonds, we didn't do anything. In Netflix, we're working right now to do a call ratio spread. And in CMG, we sold a naked put.
Beautiful. Good job out of you, Sosnov. I'm very proud of you today. You've been on your best behavior. I think you must have, I don't know, maybe you got cherry pie on your mind. You gonna get the butter cold? You gotta get the butter cold. You gonna get the butter cold?
Oh, be quiet.
You're supposed to stick in the freezer right now. On this break, you do that. We'll take a quick 90-second break and come back. We got more Tasty Live after this. What do we got coming up next? That's right. You said it, Sosnov. We got Jacob coming in the house, the skinny on options, Matt Sosnov. Ooh, we'll be back in 90 seconds.
Morning, Uncle Craig. I really appreciate all the investment advice you bestowed upon me this holiday season. That opportunity Prince Harry emailed you about sounds interesting, but I think I'll just stick to watching Tasty Live.
Sometimes it feels good to get smart. Get even smarter with live trading insights and some live taunting.
I don't kick the cat or the dog or the small children until the day of Christmas.
From the smart mouths at Tasty Live.
If you missed the live show, here's our cherry on top weekly recap.
You know, like when I answer the confirm and send, that's
By the way,
in the question.
what are you eating?
Him? Peanuts.
Yeah.
Pistachios.
I ate a pistachio. You're eating and you're just kind of like chewing while he's talking. Like,
No,
nothing.
always. It's
not eating. Do you have some control over there?
None. No.
None.
And there's shells everywhere.
Oh my God, this is so good. I hope you can see this guy. I pray that you can, but I don't think you're going to be able to.
I pray that you can.
I pray that you can. I can't say who, but one of our insiders sent me this. This is Tom. I'm eating peanuts on air, and I don't care face. Here you go.
That's not on air. That's in the commercial.
What do you mean? How did they get it? It's not on
They just
air.
made that up.
See? Yeah, that's. Let's see.
I'm surprised you like. I don't like. Yeah,
I don't like the way you chew your nuts. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Tom versus Tony. Round one. Trade. Massive volume. Killer trade. Surplus. Shoot. The fall. Volatility boost. Killer trade. Resistance. Straddle support. Order sold. You win.
We are ready to build. This is make or break for this team. It's down to the last 2 minutes, and it's time to rock and roll, baby. That's all I got is 2 minutes, and that's on a good night. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it, but I think they can just slip right on by and maybe take it through to overtime. I think we're going to overtime. Here it comes. Shalaka! Man, he hit the boards hard on that. Wait, this is football, right? Woof! Woof! take one. Hey, baby, I like the looks.
It was a great show, very inspirational and motivating. I feel like you got to know each of the traders a lot better on a personal level. It was awesome.
This is my 10th or 11th live event. I thought the math was really complicated and it wasn't, and then it just made sense.
They've opened my eyes to many different strategies.
And I realized there's a reasoning and strategic planning that you could do to be successful. I love all you guys.
If you have any questions, feel free to toss them in the chat.
Success is a combination of lots of non-correlated or lightly correlated underlyings to reduce risk.
It's better for your investments to trade volatility than it is to own S&P index funds at Vanguard. That's what you're saying.
I can't sleep at night as a passive investor.
Why not?
Because I think the risk is too great. Here I am, I'm a derivatives trader. I have hundreds, if not thousands of positions on, and I sleep fine because I know what I've done. What we do, it's a mathematical equation. What asset other than fear is mean reverting? And it requires no additional capital to play both sides of the market, then why would you even be directional in the first place?
The problem with what you're saying is it makes a little too much sense.
Yeah, it's logical.
And so it raises a lot of
scares the crap
skepticism because it makes a little too much sense.
We are ready to build. This is make or break for this team. It's down to the last 2 minutes, and it's time to rock and roll, baby. That's all I got is 2 minutes. Woof! The first half of this year's market has been giving the good guys the business. It's certainly been back and forth for sure, Pete, and I'm getting whiplash over here. With good mechanics, we can see Team Tasty stay strong in the second half. Absolutely. Let's check out our starting lineup.
Tony Bat Batista, the John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Number 69, because it's one standard deviation plus one. And you know, I'm the Bat.
John McLaurin, Wisconsin, number 2, because I'm Beth's right-hand man.
Vanetta Logan, the Indiana University. Number 3, because that's how many shots of bourbon it takes to make it through the first hour.
I like the looks of that lineup. Well, be mechanical is always better than just trying to run plays to see what sticks, Pete. When you got skin in the game, you stay in the game. That's right. Now get off the couch and get into the game. Watch Tasty Trade.
All right. Perfect. I would like to buy Park Place.
No,
What?
there is no Park Place in this game.
Yes, there is. I'm looking at it.
No,
I
this
will
is mine.
take
It's
it.
mine. You don't get it.
Okay, alrighty.
You know what? $500. $500 to the electric company if you want to keep all of your power on all these houses and hotels. And
You can't negotiate. I landed on it. I can buy it if I want
I'm
it.
the electric company. I'm the most powerful thing here.
Excuse me, to the person who owns one property on Monopoly. This is the mayor, and I am overturning everything, and
You're
I am
in over
allowed
your
to
head.
buy. Excuse me?
You're in over your cute little head.
Don't patronize me.
You
This
don't
is a
come
board game.
down to where the big chimps play and expect to get a banana, sweetheart. You gotta earn it.
Okay, asshole. Give me my money back. Come on, let's keep
Whoa.
playing.
Whoa. Whoa. Asshole. No, my father was an asshole. I'm king.
You are so wrong.
I'm very right.
Did you even take a wallet? Did you just eat my piece?
You don't have a piece now.
Seriously,
The
it's a
dog is
game.
gone. The dog is gone. You have nothing. I have a car.
Are you seriously pissed off because you're losing the game?
I'm not losing. I'm winning.
You are clearly losing. Look at the board game.
Every utility, 2 of the railroads, and what do you just have? You have a bunch of hotels and houses, which in this market is ridiculous. A nice, simple house on Mediterranean Avenue, a beautiful car worth 10 times more than your dog who is gone. Got to deal with me. Come on.
Okay, I quit. If you're gonna be an asshole, I quit.
Then I win. The old bait and switch. I got you. I told you I'd never lose this game. I've always got a plan. And you fell for it. Boom! Shalaka!
That's right, Sosnoff. My friend is in the room. Jacob, the skinny on options, man. How are you, Jacob?
Good morning, Tony. I am well. I'm well. How are you? Are you looking forward to Thanksgiving and a nice long weekend?
I am. I like Thanksgiving. Gonna be a little cold here, but you know what? We'll stay by the fire. We'll warm up. We'll drink some libations. We'll eat some food. It'll be a fun time.
And we'll all think about what we're thankful for on this strange holiday.
Well, I already know what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for being able to spend this time with people like you, Jacob, but of course my friend Tom Sosnoff, who enlightens my life and makes my whole family enriched.
So true. So true.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Tom, are you thankful for Tony in a similar way?
Oh, God, yes.
His family enriches you, surely, as well.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Oh. Oh.
I'm just incredibly disappointed with him because I know that for Thanksgiving tomorrow he's going out and buying fried chicken. So I'm just very disappointed.
Tony, is this true? Fried chicken?
It is true. It is true. My daughter wanted fried chicken. We're not big turkey people. Usually we make a little something Italian. My wife is making me a surprise Italian something. I think it's going to be some eggplant. That would be my guess, but I'll find out.
All right.
Fried chicken.
Do you like your eggplant cut really thin, or do you like
thin? Got to be thin. Skin off thin.
Skin off thin. I agree with you. Can't believe it.
Skin can be a little bitter, especially when it's thicker. But skin off thin. I don't mind you baking them. You can now bake them. You know, my wife says, "Can I please bake them?" You know, the eggplant. I don't mind it. Put a little oil on top. Bake them.
It doesn't taste the same.
I like eggplant every way.
Yeah.
I like the whole eggplant. I like them. I do like calling them aubergines more than I call them eggplants, though.
It is nicer calling it a little aubergine.
Aubergine.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I'm being very mature right now, Sosno.
Yeah, he's being very mature. You got to be careful with it.
What are you talking about, Tony?
It's
the emoji eggplant.
No. What? I don't know, Tony. What are you talking about?
You don't know what an emoji eggplant is?
No, I certainly don't. I would need you to clarify for me here on air.
The skinny and options math.
Yeah. That's what we're here for. So yeah, let's do some math today. I want to talk about. We had a number of viewers. Who have sort of had questions about expected moves and trying to answer this. And I think a lot of confusion comes from the fact that we have. The platform has a definition for expected move. We've got sort of formal probabilistic definitions for expected value and standard deviation. And then there's sort of the intuitive natural language concepts of like an expectation, like a thing you think is going to happen, and then deviations, how much stuff varies from that. And so I sort of wanted to try to untangle these three concepts and get them a little bit straighter today.
That sounds good.
Yeah, so we're going to try to understand the uncertain. Right? The future is often uncertain, and it's sort of to help us as humans think about it, a very natural thing to do is to form an expectation, right? We don't know if it's going to rain or not tomorrow, right? The weather might say it's 75% to rain tomorrow. And so we form the expectation that it will rain, right? We're not saying that it definitely will rain. The weatherman just told us it was only 75% to rain. We know 25% of the time that it's not going to rain, but we pack our umbrella. We expect rain once it's 75% to rain. That's sort of the natural language definition for expectation. And then in reality comes along and it either does rain and we say it didn't deviate, or it doesn't rain and it did deviate, or it rains a teeny bit or it rains a ton, right? There's some amount of deviation from this. Probability theory is like a formal branch of mathematics that tries to describe any system that has some uncertainty in it. And in there, there's formal definitions for the expected value and the standard deviation of a random variable. So today what we're going to do is we're going to sort of explore these two concepts and see how they do and don't align with this sort of more natural language usage. And to try to help us with that, on the next slide, I'm going to have 3 example random variables that are hopefully going to be relatively simple to keep track of, and we'll see how these concepts move with them. So the 3 random variables we're going to consider is a standard normal, right? So that's something whose probability density, whose density function looks like that bell curve, right? That's its mean is 0, its variance and standard deviation are 1. That's what makes it a standard normal. That's just sizing and scale, and it's got that the very familiar bell shape. And then for 2 other simpler ones to try to work out to see where things are different, because one problem is that for the standard for the normal distribution, a lot of these definitions align, right? The standard deviation is the same as the variance, is the same as the expected deviation. So these things can get a little confusing. So to help disentangle that, we're going to consider 2 other random variables. We'll consider the roll of a fair die. So that's just, we'll call that D, and that's just, D is a random variable that has to take one of the values 1 through 6, and it takes each one with the same probability of 1/6. And then U we'll say is a uniform random number between 0 and 1, right? So that's any real number between 0 and 1 picked equally randomly. So the 2 ways one can think about that is either in a definition by a Borel set, so that's on the right here. So for any subinterval from A to B, the probability that U lands within that is just the length of the interval, B minus A. Or you can think of it as its binary expansion and flipping coins. So you flip the first coin you flip tells you if it's more or less than a half, and then if it's less than a half, the next coin tells you if it's more or less than a quarter, or if it's more than a half, then the next coin tells you if it's more or less than 3/4. Right? And you keep splitting it up into 2 things and flipping a coin to see which end it lies in. That gets you a uniform distribution on 0, 1. So those are our 3 sort of toy examples that we'll work through as we think about what expected value and standard deviation are. So let's get into expected value. The expected value, also called the expectation of a random variable, is defined as its mean. Last week we talked about a bunch of different kinds of ways you could average things, and mean is when you add up all of its over on the right, you add up all of its possible values times the probability that it is that value. Or if it's a continuous random variable, so you can't add them up because there's an uncountable number of them, you do an integral times the probability density function. This is the additive value that the law of large numbers says that if you did many, many independent trials, you'd approach with probability 1, right? That if you flipped 1,000 coins, you'd get something pretty close to 350 as the total. Or rolled 1,000 dice, not flipped 1,000 coins, sorry. But this is not the same as the most likely value, right? That would be the mode, right? Right over on the right, I've got what their expected values are, right? The expected value of the normal distribution is 0, right? It is the mean. It is that's why I wanted these other ones to help separate this idea, right? But the expected value of a roll of a die is 3.5, which we know doesn't come up. And the expected value of a uniform distribution is exactly 1/2. And the thing is, for both the normal distribution and the uniform distribution, they never actually hit those values, or with probably 0, because they're continuous random variables. No specific value is a positive probability of being hit. And so while last week we went over a lot of different kinds of averages, mean, because it's made of this summing thing, it inherits a lot of really nice properties. Like the mean of a sum of random variables is the sum of the means. The mean of a constant times a random variable is that constant times the mean. These linearity properties come forward and are really nice mathematically for using. And so this is why expected value has this definition of mathematics, because it's the most mathematically usable one, because it algebraically behaves very nicely. But right, it's not necessarily the only kind of average one wants to consider. Median can mean a lot, can be very relevant for someone trying to consider what their average outcomes are going to be, right? The things that you're above and below half of the time, right? There's a lot of other reasonable averages to consider, but for mathematics, the mean or expected value is the most natural because it's the best behaved. So then, having defined expected value, we can now go into standard deviation because, let's go forward one bit. Because the standard deviation is defined as an expected value, or rather the variance is defined as an expected value, and variance is really nicely behaved, and then standard deviation is going to be defined off of variance. So when you're talking about, right, how much deviation you get from this mean, how much, right, the dispersion of the random variable, how spread out its possible values are, there's a bunch of different ways one could try to define that. But variance is the one that mathematicians use the most because it's the one with the nicest properties. The variance of an expected value is the variance of a random variable is the expected value of the square of the different distance to the mean. Right. So one reason you take the square is just because when you square things, you always get positive numbers. So if it's below the mean or above the mean, that still counts positively towards the variance because you're squaring it. Unfortunately, and it has this really nice property, the reason that it's the best is because if you take two independent random variables, the variance of the sum is the sum of the variances. And that's a really nice feature that other measures of dispersion won't have. Unfortunately, for thinking about things, the units for variance are the square of the units of the random variable, right? So if your random variable was a random distance, right? If my uniform random variable between 0 and 1 was a random, number of feet or meters, then its variance is going to be an area, which at least is a physical thing. You can think about if the random variable is measuring returns or log returns or prices, then the square of that is very much harder to think about, right? What is a square dollar or a square percentage? A square percentage is still a number, but it no longer has the same meaning and proportions as percentages did. And so for this reason, to make things sort of linear in the right units, what's taken as the definition for standard deviation is the square root of the variance. So right, variance has this nice summing property. Taking the square root won't preserve that. So standard deviation isn't going to have that nice summing property, but it's built on variance, which is the most nicely behaved measure of dispersion. Now let's get to expected move. When the platform says expected move, when traders talk about expected moves, just by convention, what they're talking about is the standard deviation of the price change. That just is what they mean. It is the standard deviation, which is different than the expected value of the move, right? The expected value of the move might be this thing I've written here, the expected value of the absolute value, the expected value of the absolute value of the difference between the later price and the starting price, right? That'd be the expected value of the move. If you ignore the risk-free rate, you could take off that expected value S of t, and you'd get this as sort of the expected distance moving on. This definition, which is sort of the more natural one, which I think a lot of viewers in their emails think is what expected move is trying to be, has one nice thing with relation to standard deviation. It's always less. Standard deviation is always going to overestimate this, thanks to what's called Jensen's inequality, or Jensen's inequality, depending on how American you are. But Jensen, I believe, is correct pronunciation. But Jensen's inequality has to do with convex functions and integrals. Square rooting is a concave function. Squaring is a convex function. You can put it into the definition for expected value, and you see that, right, because absolute value is just the square root of the square. When I pull the square root inside the definition of standard deviation to get this one, I make the thing smaller. And so our standard deviations or our expected moves are always going to be sort of overestimating this sort of more intuitive definition for an expected move. I think that's sort of an important thing for people who are looking at the platform, seeing what expected move is, and like trying to get this to marry with their own understandings of how probability works, because there's this sort of confusion where we use the word expected, but there is no expectation that gets you the expected move. What gets you the expected move is the square root of an expectation. And that just is how it is because it's much better on the mathematical end of things. It's not necessarily more intuitive for people, but it means that things add and sum and multiply in nicer ways without having to have a bunch of correcting terms. And that's, I think, my biggest thing I wanted to clear up today. And if people go home and Google Jensen's inequality, that's the thing to do over the long weekend. They can get a nicer grasp of what's going on in these things. But yeah, that's all. We can roll towards our takeaways and see how are you feeling there, Tom?
I'm feeling pretty good.
All right. Ready for the weekend.
Ready for the weekend.
So when dealing with an uncertain future, it makes sense to contextualize it by forming an expectation and then thinking in terms of the deviations from that expectation. That's both an intuitive and natural thing to do and a good idea. I think it really reduces a lot of the mental load for thinking about how random things work, is to try to narrow it down into a thing you're setting as the baseline and then measuring how much things deviate from that baseline. But it's important to remember that baseline may not ever occur, right? What's the expected value of the position of the Earth in the solar system? It's the sun, because we go in an orbit around the sun. So if you average all of our positions, you will get exactly the sun. But the Earth isn't in the sun. You shouldn't ever expect to find the Earth in the middle of the sun. But if you want to describe where the Earth is, it's probably easiest to start with, well, where is the sun? And then say, from there, where are you? Rather than trying to describe in the whole galaxy, where is the Earth, period. So that's the same idea. Probability theory has specific technical definitions for the phrase expected value and standard deviation. And these try to give such a context, but in order to have these nice mathematical properties having to do with addition and multiplication, neither definition exactly aligns with its natural language usage. For example, the mean size of a move is always less than the expected move, and how much is going to depend on the distribution. That's just right. So for a normal distribution, it's like the mean size of a move is going to be like 80% of the expected move. But for a log normal distribution, it's a little bit more. It's still less, but it's a little bit more than 80%. So while both probability and intuition are useful for traders, it can be helped to be aware of when the two of them deviate. And this is my pun on the word deviation. To try to keep straight in your mind where the both probability theory and your intuition, you want to have them both and try to use them both, but be aware that sometimes they use the same words without quite exactly the same meaning. And that's what I want to sort of raise for people's awareness today. That's it.
It's really interesting. I'd like to think we do it intuitively, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think we generally do work pretty intuitively around here. And so one thing I wanted to say is that, right, the expected move, you shouldn't expect an underlying to move by its expected move. Right? The expected move is just the standard deviation of moves. The actual most likely outcome is that it doesn't move at all. Right?
Yeah.
That it has sideways total movement.
Yeah, we don't use the expected move other than for context.
Right.
Because
and for choosing where you want to put your strikes. And right, but if you choose to put your strikes there, Jensen's inequality says you're actually putting them out slightly past where they're, the mean distance is going to be.
But that's what you want.
Right, exactly. That'll help you play it a little bit safe.
Yeah.
Jensen's inequality is our friend. It's good to be friends with true things.
Thank you, Mr. Perlman. Very good.
Excellent.
Thank you very much, kind sir. We're going to take a quick 90-second break. You enjoy your Thanksgiving. I'm going to be thankful for Mr. Scott Sheridan, who's coming up next from Tasty Trade World Headquarters. We'll be back in 90 seconds with Tasty Live.
Rock, paper, scissors? He just played paper. He'll do it again. No, rock. Men statistically play rock, but he played paper and lost, and the mind works in patterns. He's going scissors. He knows I know he'll go scissors, but knowing I know he knows.
Scissors, shoot. Thought we were doing rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
It's always rock, paper, scissors. If you think like a trader, we've got your back. Tasty Trade. Join the club, genius.
First, Tasty Live united finance and entertainment, then probabilities and research. And now, we're uniting the symposium with the blockchain with this unique virtual event. 6 option strategies every trader needs to know, featuring legendary trader Tom Sosnoff and other Tasty Live traders. You can watch the presentations live or anytime you like, since the digital collectible is yours to own when you register. To learn more and register for free, go to tastylive.com/events.
If you missed the live show, here's our cherry on top weekly recap.
I mean, I watched an hour and a half of TikTok, and that was enough for me. Skinny waist, what is it? Skinny waist, pretty face.
Yeah.
I'll finish that song.
Yeah,
What?
that's Meg the Stallion. It's not safe for morning television.
Skinny waist,
Body yada
face,
yada
big
yada
bang, blah,
yada
blah,
yada
blah.
yada. Body yada 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 yada. Yes, Tom, you have.
I got it down to a science, Beth.
Yes.
I'm practically a TikToker. Skinny waist, pretty face, big bang, boom.
I didn't even know TikTok had music.
Yeah.
I mean, here you are, this big-time brokerage CEO, media mogul, TV star. You're a full-on celebrity, and you're running around singing TikTok music like a 16-year-old girl.
Tom, when you talk about the good guys, who are they?
They are us. We are the good guys.
When you say they take out the weekend, what does that mean to you?
That means when you're a premium seller and they take out the weekend, that means that all the decay over those 2 days, Saturday and Sunday when the markets are closed, come out of the market Monday morning.
When I say bell to bell, what does that mean to you?
Bell to bell is like in horse racing, they would call it wire to wire. And in trading, they call it bell to bell. So the opening bell to the closing bell.
If you're saying something's thin, what does that mean to you?
That means it's not very liquid. That means that the marketplace is relatively illiquid. That's what thin means.
If you can't buy an uptick, what's happening?
If you can't buy an uptick, that means the market is going down and it's not, and there's no bounce.
How does Daddy do it?
Daddy does it good.
Got the need for speed? No problem. On Tasty Trade, adjusting your option positions is a right click away. Rolling just got quicker. Tasty Trade, make your move.
The beauty of Thinkorswim was that we were different. From the name to the front end technology was clearly what we wanted as traders. Second time around, I think we did a better job. Yes, we are known for our ability to support complex derivatives traders, but we also have the tools for somebody who's brand new who wants to come in on the first floor and work their way up to the top of the building.
In the world of options, somebody once said, for every gimme, there's a gotcha.
It's all about generating positive expectancy in your portfolio.
Welcome to Option Trades Today. I'm Tony the Bat Batiste, and I've got not one, but two trade ideas for you today.
Exploring zero DTE. We promised you we would take a look, and here we go.
Tomas, we are back, my friend. You know what that means. Enough out of you. That's right. Tasty Trade World Headquarters. Your friend and mine. It's that time. That's right. Mr. Scott Sheridan from the Scott Sheridan Studios. How are you, my friend?
I am excellent. I hope you're too. I have a question, but before I have a question, I have another question, which is the first question is going to be for both of you. Was going to be for both of you. Now it's just for Tom. What are you wearing? Is that a sun shirt? Is that like, are you going to the pool and you don't want to get a tan? Do you wear that in the water?
Or is that a onesie? I'm saying onesie with it.
Wait, does that snap?
It has two buttons in the back.
Right. No, bodysuit. It snaps underneath.
It's a danskin. It's a danskin. It's definitely a danskin.
It's a long sleeve white shirt.
When did you add that to the repertoire? Yeah, right. From that is a good question. When did you add? Here it comes. If you guys didn't. Oh, here we go.
To be very stylish.
Were you surprised when you tried to snap it and you got one of your testes caught in there?
Oh my! Oh my God,
Okay.
That's disturbing.
You say, what a weird place to put snaps.
Okay. More importantly, here's the question of the day. Maybe you saw this already, but I was shocked that this is factually correct.
Oh God, what?
It's a sports question.
Okay.
So UNC fired Mac Brown, right? So
they fired him?
North Carolina.
Okay.
There are only two coaches in college football today who have won national championships.
There's only two coaches in all of college football that have won national championships?
Yeah.
Presently employed, you mean?
Well, right now, that are currently employed, that are head coaches.
Okay. Yeah. The coach at Georgia.
Kirby Smart, correct.
Kirby Smart, yeah. And
who's the other one? Think about it. You know the other one.
Just hold on a second. Won national championships.
I'm not going anywhere.
And they're in college football.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll give you a hint when you're ready for a hint. The conference.
It's going to be the Oregon coach.
No. ACC.
ACC.
Got me.
ACC.
Clemson, Dabo Swinney. We got to move on.
Oh,
but anyway.
Yeah, Dabo Swinney.
So
yeah,
that
right.
just shows you how many championships between Urban Meyer and Nick Saban. Like, it's crazy. Think about that. Like in football, how many coaches right now have won? Active coaches have won Super Bowls. I don't know the answer. It's got to be a bunch.
Active coaches.
Yeah, have won a Super Bowl.
Active coaches.
For sure, you could say Harbaugh from Baltimore. They won, didn't they? Has he won a Super Bowl? For sure. Who's the coach? The guy from Miami of Ohio. Thank you. On the Rams, he won a Super Bowl. Who else? There's definitely.
Tomlin's won a Super Bowl.
You are right.
Okay.
You are right.
Mike McCarthy's won a Super Bowl.
McCarthy, right? So there's got to be 6, 7,
5. 4 active NFL coaches have won Super Bowls with their current teams.
Okay, 4. But think about that. There's how many? Like, I get when you say how many colleges there are. There's obviously a lot, but there's only 10 or 5 that can actually compete.
Andy Reid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Sean McVay.
Sean
McVay.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, Miami of Ohio.
Mike Tomlin. Yeah, those are the ones. Yeah.
Okay. But isn't that crazy? Like if I would have said to you how many college football coaches are active that have won championships, there's no way you would have said 2. Of course, Tom, you would have said 2. I know that. Tony, you never would have said 2.
No.
Okay.
I probably would have said
How about this? 20 of the current head coaches in the NFL have won at least one Super Bowl as a head coach, assistant coach, a player throughout their career in the NFL.
That doesn't surprise me.
But if you count a player, that doesn't surprise me.
While all but 4 have participated in at least one. Just showing you that.
But 4 have participated.
That doesn't surprise me either.
And all 4 of them happen to be on the Bears, I'm guessing. Here, take the losers, send them over to Chicago, and we'll see what we can do. Anyway, okay. Is the shopping done? Is anything in the oven yet? Like, what are you doing?
No, there's only one thing I have to buy. I'm a little short on cherries.
Oh boy.
So I have to go get some cherries. Yeah.
And he doesn't have enough strong swimmers to have anything in the oven.
Look behind me. A lot of cherries. Go grab one of those bottles.
Yeah.
Nice.
Don't give me any ideas. Don't give me any ideas.
By the way, here's a nice touch. Depending on what you're doing, Tony, they're the Italian cherries. You put in like a cocktail drink.
Yeah.
No,
well, I don't know what they're called. You don't like those? They're so much better than the ones behind me.
The ones in the blue and white bottle?
Yes, the blue and white bottle. They're great.
No, they're great to eat just as plain cherries, but not in a pie.
Not in a pie. Okay, I didn't know you were making a pie, but they're great.
No.
They're much better tasting.
The crazy thing is, they're hard to find. They're expensive, and Trader Joe's had a little bottle. Costco, you buy the ginormous bottle, and they go bad before you can eat them all. If you're not worried about a little mold on top, you can scrape it off and just keep going.
Those things last like 5 years. I have one bottle for like 10 years.
Not my refrigerator. Have you opened it recently? Mine lasted about 6 months, and there was a nice green-white growth on the top when I opened it.
Vinny eats them. If you buy them, you usually buy just a small little jar of them, but he eats them.
They're great.
Yeah. They're great.
Yeah. All right, so you need cherries. Like it. What else?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
Tony?
I'm good to go.
I gassed up my car. I got a full tank. I'm fine.
What does that mean? You're not cooking?
Coming down for Parsons Chicken.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to me that you're driving all the way down here. You're better off going to like Popeyes by you.
Wait a minute. You're coming down to pick it up, or you're eating it down here?
Coming down to pick it up.
I agree with Tom. You're better off going to Popeyes. It's way better. It's more quantity for sure. Do you remember when Tom ordered Parsons for 8 of us and we each had to split a chicken wing? Okay, and that was a meal for 6, so 8. So therefore, you got to order a meal for 50.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. How many people are you having over, Tony? How many people are going to be at your house?
8 of us, I believe.
8. You better order for 24.
For sure.
That's minimum.
I ordered for 10. And we have Italian food.
I ordered when we had the poker game, I ordered for 16 for 8 of us, and you guys bitched nonstop.
Yeah, but you had 16 animals.
Okay, wait a minute. We were not. You can't say that we were overeating. There was nothing to overeat.
Yeah, you better order for 24 people from there.
Yeah, make sure
confident.
Barnaby's is open. Make sure Barnaby's is open. You got a backup plan.
I am confident
just
that Sosnoff did not pick up all the packages, or he just ordered for 1. I'm confident.
Me too.
I'm confident.
Chicken for 2 for 1?
Yes. You know how Sadnuf is when he's got to go in his pocket. You know,
By the way,
all of a sudden he's like a T-Rex.
We were able to get one of the deep dish apple pies. I will report back.
Oh, what a shock!
I'll send you photos. All right.
You were able to get one.
I'm making my own.
Okay, thank you.
The Six was able to get one. I had nothing to do with it. You're making your own deep dish apple pie. You slice them.
No, I'm making my own cherry pie.
Hold on, Tony. Can we get a?
Yeah, slow clap.
Hey, and then
if you're gonna make a cherry, listen. If you're gonna go through make an apple pie too.
I don't do good with apple pies.
Okay, if you have never heard the Bill Burr routine talking about making a pie on Thanksgiving, it is just go Google it.
Oh my God, you're like a Bill Burr fan club. I mean, honest to God, get a room.
He has a routine. It's amazing. I think it was his girlfriend at the time, but now it's his wife. She's watched a football game before. She's like, what are you going to do on Thanksgiving? He's like, I don't know, I'll make a pie. Like, just leave me alone. I'm watching a football game. So he doesn't think about it. And then it's morning of Thanksgiving, and she's so excited. She's like, you're going to make the pie? He's like, I can't say the word. Okay, after like this, I got to make a pie. He's like, I just said I was going to make a pie to get her to leave me alone so I can watch the football game. All right.
But I want to make the pie.
Okay. Tell us, you're making the crust because I did just see on NBC on the morning show today, the key to getting the nice crust, the crispy, is you have to slice the butter and like drop the butter on slices.
Oh my
frozen.
God, what are you?
Frozen.
You listened to Vanetta already this morning? She's been yakking about it all morning. I got it.
No, I didn't listen to Vanetta.
No, any good baker, anybody who's
I'm not a good baker. Okay, you want to make it over under on if Tom's pie's edible? Because I'm under. Okay.
I just want to know if it's gonna be scalloped like the Barnaby's crust. That's what I want to know.
If you are making the crust, if you tell me you're buying the crust, I'll say you got a 50-50 chance.
Here's what I'm
There's
telling you.
100% chance he has a Mrs. Smith's frozen
for sure,
in his fridge.
100% chance.
Fresh.
I'm making my own crust, but I bought a backup crust.
Okay, there we go.
Fair enough.
There we go. Okay.
You're making it, you're actually rolling it out, you're doing everything?
Yeah, but I have a backup in case it doesn't work.
My recommendation to you as a friend,
bread make you one.
Start with the backup and work backwards. Just go right to the reserve. Just go right into the bullpen.
I got backup everything.
Okay. I mean, the good news is you only have 4, of which only 2 eat. So you could miss a lot, and you'll still have plenty. And you'll still have plenty of food.
Right. It's just for show.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just for picture taking.
For sure. All right. Should we get to some business?
Sure. Before we do, even the S&P, I don't know if you just saw them. They made new lows, but they bounced off of that. They're down 16. Volatility is up 11. The Russell, which was the strongest of the group, is basically unchanged, up $3 right now. Dow up 75, and the Nasdaq, the weakest of the group, down by a full 1%, down $218 on the Nasdaq.
We get a
we could get that if we wanted.
Right.
It sounds a little bit like the Minions, like the cartoony thing. I like it.
I like it too. All right. Got 15 symbols going through the system. First 40 minutes of the day. No broad-based indices or futures. Time for you, number 15. Meta at a 1. Everybody else, NVIDIA at a 12. Tesla at a 37. Dell at a 24. MSTR to 72. CRWD at a 19. WFC at a 24. Coin at a 68. PLTR at a 37. GLD at a 63. AMD at a 9. SMCI at a 48. Amazon at a 17. Apple at a 9. TLT at a 27. And number 15 for Tom Meta at a 1, rounding out the next 10. Mara at a 46. Boeing at a 37. HIMS at a 79. And SOXL at a 31.
Give you for the winner. Well, didn't like it. Did you say HIMS was number 1?
No, not number 1. HIMS was 23. HIMS.
I'm surprised that UAL's down 90 cents too. Get the plunge protection team there. I'm looking at HIMS right now. Oh, it's up 1%. That's why, up $31.22. Got it.
1.7%.
Yeah, actually, markets are okay in there too. It's off its highs too. It was trading much higher this morning too. So it traded as high as $35. That's why. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Brought it to my attention.
If you didn't see any of that, would you told me that my list was wrong?
No, it just was an odd stock to hear. Like it's not something I typically think we trade a lot of.
I agree with you.
So that's why it just hit my attention. Plus, I know Tom uses the product and he likes it. So I was wondering if it was, related to that too.
I think they have lots of products
that you could use, that we all could use.
I think they have lots of products that would fit me.
I'm there for it. All right. Sadnov, you've got about 3 minutes here. Give me something profound, or maybe we let Scott go.
I think what I'm going to do today is, like, I've started to roll some positions so we don't have to do them all on Friday.
Okay.
That's a good thing. I find the markets to be actually quite good today.
They've been good all week, Sadnov. They really have been. I rolled everything yesterday and the day before, so I can diligently watch how you do it, because you're just so amazing at rolling, and I'm thankful that I get to watch you roll.
It's funny. We did do one trade this morning where did we do this trade? Where we put on, we got a little short Tesla. We bought that put spread in Tesla this morning from that customer. What's your assumption?
Yeah,
stocks.
You didn't buy a spread from a customer. You took on their recommendation.
Yeah, I said from their recommendation. From what's
no,
what's
you
your
said
assumption?
You bought it from a customer. You were thinking something else. Let's just clarify that.
It was actually a customer's assumption, by the way, because it's
a customer's
called
assumption.
What's your assumption?
Anyway, it's rare that within a few minutes a stock like that drops $8.
Yeah, and it was down $3 lower than that just a moment ago. Tesla with an IV rank of 35 has been coming down also. So what do you want? What do you want? A cookie? I mean, what do we? You bought a put spread. You bought a put spread. You're up 8 cents. What do you want?
It was your idea. Let's hear that. I knew it.
No, I don't want any of those. I have a lot of positions on in Tesla, but I'm just saying it's rare that it moves that quickly. That's a big move
that's what she said.
It's a big move. That is a big move.
Yeah.
I'm rolling down calls in Tesla. There.
Now you're gonna get hurt.
Hurt me.
Now they're gonna get you good.
Hurt me. I hope they hurt me.
All right, Mr. Sheridan, I want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. And I know we all have a lot to be thankful for, and I know you do too. So please, happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you and to all the viewers. Happy Thanksgiving. Safe travels if anybody's traveling. Tony, be careful. Do you know why, by the way, because you are one of the few suburbanites that I know, why are the express lanes not open yet? What are they doing?
Oh my God! Don't get Frankie in the chat room started with how Chicago works, please.
I agree. You know what? I'm on the Frankie train right now. Go ahead. What has he got?
Last year, this time they were open already. So
you would think that would make sense
because they stopped really construction. There's nobody doing. I mean, I don't ever see anybody on them.
No, weeks ago they stopped construction.
Yeah,
it's rough.
First of all, I don't know if they. I think they switched to Tony on December 1st.
Last year, or this year.
Okay, could be. I'm gonna say the reason why they don't switch it earlier, even if they're done, is because the contract is written that they have to be, able to work there up until December 1st. If December 1st is the right one, I hope they open it because it makes it a lot easier. Obviously,
a lot easier.
A lot easier.
Well, be careful coming down to pick up your persons.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You said it with such love and distaste in your mouth. Appreciate it. Thank you. Sadnov, I'm going to take a quick 90-second break. We're going to come back. Even the S&P is down 20. We're not going to come back with anything but some reruns, correct?
No. We're not going to come back until Sunday night at 4:55 with me, Victor, Ilya, Pete. Sunday night, 4:55. And then on Monday, there's a special treat.
Oh, yeah, that's
on Monday, everybody, you want to tune in next Monday because it's going to be one of the greatest shows ever. It's going to be me and TP.
Aww.
Yes, that is correct. I get the day off. Thank you so much. You are a wonderful overlord. You are the best overlord. And Scott, thank you for co-signing it too. I appreciate it. We're going to take a quick 90-second break and come back. We got more Tasty Live after this with Thanksgiving next. Peace.